Assemble the accused! Bear witness to their trials! The time of the Inquisition is now at hand. Putting pop culture to the rack, the Inquisition calls to account the events of the week, rooting out heresy wherever it is found. I am Grand Inquisitor Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me for tonight's torture is the Nerdrotic channel's Grand Inquisitor, Gary Beekler. Gary, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm on cloud nine right now. I'm on cloud nine, but the bigger question is, how are you? I heard there was an unexpected storm in the center of the earth. Even the dinosaurs scattered, and it hit your internet. Are you okay?
Man, it was unprecedented. It was a white Christmas, a white post-Christmas, a freak snowstorm in the center of the earth. It knocked out power. It knocked out everything, internet, all day. That's why you sent out that tweet earlier about the Inquisition is we don't know what's going on with it. Stay tuned, because I didn't know that I would be here tonight. But thankfully, and after a trial run where I did try to get in to the charity stream, I tried like hell to get in there. And in fact, you said you saw me in there a couple of times briefly. And I kept getting booted out for some weird reason, which I assume had to do with the snowstorm, internet irregularities, and so on. I was disappointed. I really wanted to.
Yeah, we wanted you on. We know you were there in heart and spirit. We raised $30,000 for St. Jude's Hospital, helping children with cancer. I'm on effing cloud nine right now because I couldn't believe the response from you guys. It was unfucking believable how cool that was. And we came together, and Star Wars Theory, which is, I mean, admittedly a channel I have been very critical of when he criticized individuals who use the fandom menace, but like a man, he dealt with it. He hashed out his stuff with Jeremy, behind the scenes, man to man via like a phone call, the way adults do it before you go out and do it online and
right.
Drama shit. They had decided to handle it like men. And through that, this happened. And that's a good thing. And you know what? I was on channels with I vehemently disagree with, but we definitely did something good. And I think that helped some people understand us a little bit more, who don't watch our stuff and might just hear what about us from other parties instead of just checking us out. And hopefully they do. And listen, we're salty, right? We criticize things. We're not afraid to say what we think over here. But we love, Doomcock has his base, his center of the earth is what is in my room times 1,000. Okay, so this is not a guy who hates stuff. People who hate stuff don't have rooms like this.
No,
I said that there, and it's because we love this shit. It's been a huge part of our life, and we want to continue loving it. And yeah, what we were doing was sometimes harsh, but you know what the methods and the motivations behind what the repurposers have done to tear down stuff that we used to love, that we made worth $1 billion, is unforgivable unless they want to come out and admit it. Now, we're going to be talking about Star Trek, which was one of the worst offenders. Star Trek and Doctor Who should be hanging their heads in shame right now, especially after that Luke Skywalker moment, which, really changed pop culture for a little while. Let's hope it changes it permanently, where a lot of people recognized what we want was traditional heroes. We like traditional storytelling. It doesn't matter what that traditional hero looks like. It's just the traditional hero, the hero's journey. Instead, we have Michael Burnham and the hero's journey, which is, I was right all along. That was it. And the rest of the characters have to kind of work their way up to being understanding that Michael Burnham was right all along. The hero's journey.
It was so awful. After a horrible day with all the travails and everything, and not being able to get into the charity stream, I decided to put some good use and actually get some food for the first time all day, because I couldn't open my fridge. And watch Star Trek Discovery. So it is fresh. It is fresh. I am feeling shell shocked after all the shit I've been through today. And holy crap, it was so cringingly awful. In a way that, it's not simply a question of bad Star Trek or violating canon, or all that stuff is taken for granted, but for sheer cringe, for sheer cheesiness, for sheer, the sliver or whatever his fucking name is, the differently abled Calpian that caused the burn, and the whole episode is spent indulging him and telling him who's a good boy, who can push the button, who can do it, and him like, no, I won't do it. Okay, I'll do it, and he does it. God. And Mikey Spock is just, she's like Hack Bauer. She's just running around and fucking sliding down banisters and doing triple somersaults in the air, shooting 20 people in mid-flight. And I think she invented penicillin back in the 1800s and then came back forward in time again, and killed, I think, the Borg, all the Borg, then went back in time and briefly became Jesus. Cut out before the whole cross thing, because she's the bestest ever. She wasn't going to put up with that shit, and then came back, and I don't even know all that she did this episode. It's only a slight exaggeration. This was insulting. God Almighty, the cringe of it, and we'll just go through, and it really defies, like you said, Gary. It defies explanation or cogent review. It is very difficult. It is far more difficult as a sane man to critique something that is mad than it is for mad things to ramble on in front of sane men. It's just, you have to reestablish norms of reality. You have to say, oh, and by the way, and you have to meticulously reconstruct reality to then show exactly how this show violated all sense of sanity, reality, plausibility. You have to work so hard just to return to a baseline to point out how much it sucks.
It really makes the viewer dumber. And they say all good things come to an end. With Star Trek, it's all shitty things continue. You can't even get into describing season 3 without bringing up season 2, right? And then you have to bring up, and you have to try to do it briefly, which is hard. So basically, season 1, Michael Burnham caused a mutiny, started a war with the Klingons, and then she ended it with an iPad that was connected to a bunch of bombs in the volcanic caverns of Kronos, and they're still there, apparently, and they threatened to blow them up unless they stop fighting. That was the end of season 1. Season 2, there was 7 red signals that appeared simultaneously, which were signals of light that were hundreds of thousands of light years apart. How do things like that happen simultaneously? They can't. That would be breaking the laws of physics, Star Trek, even with fucking tachyons and quantum this and subspace. You still would have to explain that a little bit. Then we find out that what caused those 7 red signals was this magical Iron Man time suit that Michael Burnham's mom made in her spare time while doing another job for Starfleet, which was so unique and so rare that they were able to 3D print a copy and find a time crystal with the Klingons, who apparently are the only ones with time crystals that can travel in time. And the warrior race of the Klingons that love to conquer shit never used them for some religious values. Then they made a copy of the magical bullshit Iron Man suit to fight Control, which was a Federation computer that, well, supposedly is sentient enough to know that it wants to be sentient, but it's just one step away. It needs some information that the Discovery has that they just happened upon by finding a giant planet that somehow roams through the galaxy, recording everything with, I guess, billions of little tiny cameras and microphones. And when it was dying, it ran across the Discovery accidentally through the Red Angel signals and said, I really like these mentally ill people on this spaceship. I'm going to give them 100,000 years worth of information, which is what the Control wanted. The only way to do this was not destroy the Discovery or, I don't know, delete the information. These mentally ill geniuses decided to go 930 years into the future to get away from Control, who they already defeated by the end of the episode, so they didn't need to fucking go.
Right.
Follow all of that?
Yeah. But just to be safe, when Mikey Spock crash lands on the planet like an idiot, collides with Book's ship, what are the odds, man? What are the odds?
Two black people running into each other in space.
That's right. It just boom, just like that. And they both crash. And she, survives, not only survives, but the suit's perfectly fine. It's like, yeah. It's all right. It's all right. And then it assembles itself and she sends it back through the wormhole to let to let regular Spock know that she successfully crash landed on the planet. And why? What fucking difference does it make? Why would she waste this suit that she, I don't know, might have need of later, self-destruct it? And also you were pointing out, which is an excellent point, Red Angel suit has an autopilot on it. So Mikey Spock didn't have to do the sacrifice.
And the Discovery has an autopilot. So the Red Angel suit on autopilot could have led the Discovery on autopilot through the wormhole that they didn't need to go through because Control was the big bad that needed the information, was defeated, was soundly defeated, was neutralized. They even say it in the episode. So, and I've said it before, there's got to be a bunch of people on the other side who realized this happened and went, there goes the dumbest crew of the most idiotic starship in the history of the Federation. Good riddance,
I know, man. I know. It kind of makes Gilligan's Island look like it was written by Nietzsche.
It was compared,
Nietzsche with an assist by Aristotle. It's just like, God damn, Gilligan's Island is a work of sublime genius.
Production.
Yes, exactly. Oh, and not to mention that, like, remember when Mikey Spock found the planet that is alive with sound? Yes. It's the sound planet. Every part of it emits sound. And there's a big antenna naturally occurring on the planet that they say they can use that to detect Klingorks when they're cloaked with sonar. So they go ahead and they leave the planet because they've been recalled, because it's like, we've only got 13 hours. We've got to get back by 13 hours because it's going to be a decisive battle. And so they're basically saying, okay, Lorca says, gang, this war has been going on for like 2 years or something like that at this point. It says, so we've only got 13 hours left to crack this problem that we haven't been able to crack the entire time. Go for it, gang. And so they're working on it on the ship, and then they're almost at their destination when one of the guys says, Captain, we've just read, we've just learned that a cloaked Klingork vessel has entered the orbit of the sound planet. And they're like, I don't know how many light years away. So not only can they detect, I thought the whole problem was they couldn't detect the cloaked vessels, but they can detect the cloaked vessels even light years away. So what's up with that?
In vacuum, right? So they're in the light years away.
Oh, right.
Detect in the vacuum of space, which you can scream all you want. Nobody can hear you because sound can't travel in a vacuum. But you're right. If they didn't have to, so they wanted to detect it, but they were able to detect it anyway.
Right.
And then they needed to double detect it, maybe.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they were able to say that it entered, and they weren't even implementing the sonar in space yet. I don't think were they?
They weren't. No,
they hadn't, because the planet hadn't given them permission. The planet didn't want its sonar to be used, but nevertheless, they were able, without the sonar that they were hoping to develop, because it was Mikey Spock's brilliant idea to use the sound planet, they were able to detect without the sonar the cloak ship entering orbit.
And these are things they all forgot in the future because they weren't able to detect anything cloaked. And it was and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the Romulan episode in the original series that was the
Balance of Terror
them when it was cloaked, right? They didn't have a lot of contact with, they had zero contact with the Romulans at the time. They were just fighting a war with people they'd never seen or talked to.
Right. That was during the original Romulan Earth War. And they didn't have the cloaks back then. They just simply would self-destruct or whatever. So you never retrieved any bodies, or it was more primitive conditions. So they never had face-to-face talks on the vessels or anything. And then this cloak in Balance of Terror kind of worked both ways in a sense, because while they were cloaked, they also couldn't really perceive the Enterprise very well either.
Mm-hmm.
And it really hurt their power consumption.
Yep.
So yeah.
Fire. And it was supposed to be like a submarine battle, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And that was cool as hell. But then they fucked with it in Star Trek Discovery, which is what they do. This is what repurposers do. And, I think back to Michael Chabon and his little comment about us and how we didn't get the memo of what Star Trek is about. This thing is antithetical. It's opposite to everything Star Trek is about, because at its core, it's about excluding a certain part of the audience. It's excluding the audience that made Star Trek. They don't want this audience around. They don't even know what they want, because they can't even woke right in this episode. Or any episode. And we've said this in the past. The matriarchy of the Federation is a bunch of incompetent idiots and the Federation's in decline in everything. The plot for series 3 of Star Trek Discovery really mirrored the plot of Picard in a lot of ways. I mean, we've got a different, we just came back from a different AI, but it's just the Federation's in decline. We have a limited resources because of a cataclysm. I mean, these people, it's the same fucking tune basically. Right. And the only difference is we had, greener, nicer Samantha Bee Orion out there, being the evil capitalist. Because, oh, by the way, capitalism was the big bad in the end. In the very end, she even mentions it. It's fucking ridiculous that capitalism is bad. And Admiral Vance, which we'll get to, makes the dumbest fucking decision at the end for his ideals. But I got to give it to Az for pointing this out, because it was astute. It's more important to punish for perceived wrongs than it is to move forward and work together. It's much more important to punish, and that's the mentality of cancel culture, and it really came through in this episode, and then in the end with their communist uniforms. But so to begin with, to get to that baseline, to begin with the season, they don't need to be there. Okay, they don't need to be there. They defeated Control. It's stupid that they're even there, but they're there. And within a few minutes of the first episode, we find out there was a thing called the burn, and it was another cataclysm that caused a shortage of resources, and it basically ended the Federation in 100 years, a century. So this happened 120 years prior. Michael Burnham arrives alone. Then the Discovery comes a year later. We find out that they have autopilots, and there's all the dilithium exploded at once. We don't know why. I don't know how a crystal, right, a mineral, can explode all at once when it's inside, again, instantaneously. This happened instantaneously. There was only microseconds difference in time, which they don't explain. There should be hours, days difference, months difference.
Actually, decades, centuries,
Yes.
millennia. Because, why is this? Well, I mean, I don't know if we're getting to the explanation of the burn.
Oh, we'll get there.
Which is absolutely painful, but there's nothing in the explanation for the burn that would account for any kind of signal moving faster than the speed of light. And that's the problem.
And even in subspace, even if this signal went through warp or whatever, that still takes time. It's not, you're not apparating. It's not going through the spore drive. It still takes time to travel places at warp speed. And yeah, you can't have microseconds in between. But this final episode, it was 3 episodes in one, basically. Which is weird because That Hope Is You Part 2 is the name of the final episode, which is supposed to be part 2 of the first episode, which was really just connecting the dude who was sitting at the starbase for 40 years by himself, waking up every day and sitting at a desk waiting to hang a fucking flag. And that's not even a joke. That's what he did.
Yeah. Oh, it's so noble though. He hung it with such a kind of cowed and humbled and self-effacing kind of a noble sacrifice kind of way. It was laden with meaning. It wasn't just a flag. It was, gosh, hope. Yeah, it was. Oh, I forgot the term they have for that. Something that's just fucking cheesy, and I forget there's an actual word. Mawkish.
Saccharine, thank you. Saccharine. That's it. And it just it flows with it. So basically that guy waited for 40 years, and then later on you see him and he's just a lieutenant, and it means nothing. It really does explain Star Trek Discovery in a nutshell. And for anybody out there who just likes our videos and doesn't watch this, the best way to describe an episode of Star Trek Discovery is if you saw the fall of Skywalker. That's an episode of Star Trek Discovery. That's pretty much how it goes. Nothing makes sense. They don't have it. They don't care about distance travel, character development, characters at all. They just want to get the point. You go through a little mystery box. You got a couple of MacGuffins. Then you get to the end of the story, and there's like a lot of lofty music, and there's some people crying, and it's supposed to feel like something, but nothing really happened. And it's made by vapid people who take shortcuts all the time. It's just, that's what Bad Robot is. It's a company that loves to take lots and lots of shortcuts and not give you anything with any meaning whatsoever. It is junk food. Doesn't even begin to describe it, because sometimes junk food can be good. This is never good. And people, hopefully they stop falling for it, because this is the worst kind of garbage that sets art and everything back. And the worst part about it is they use this as a tool of influence, of a platform. They try, I mean, it's
who would it influence, and to do what, Gary?
I don't know.
What are we supposed to do? What is the takeaway? What are we? How is our life supposed to be changed? How have I failed in not being changed watching this shit? That Mikey Spock is the bestest ever?
Yeah.
I mean, I coined that phrase.
You did.
So I learned that immediately. What else am I supposed to do?
And has anything changed? No. She is still the bestest ever. That's it. I mean, 41 episodes of Star Trek Discovery we've gotten. 41 episodes. Name a single classic moment. Name a single classic episode. Name a moment that you can remember that wasn't cringe, that was supposed to be.
Oh, that wasn't cringe. Because there were some legendary cringe moments. Like, this is the power of math, people.
Mm-hmm.
And I like science.
I like science.
Did he actually say that?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Right after some magical bullshit solution for some ridiculous problem, like they have to make another goddamn time suit, and they need time crystals. And if they get they always have something that they just happened across, like giant balls of dark matter and a sphere full of 100,000 years of information that just somehow wants to download it into the computer conveniently. So now they have this Uber spaceship that's even too advanced for 930 years in the future. And apparently this Uber spaceship, though, that everybody wants, doesn't have a transporter inhibitor. It just allows anybody to transport on it whenever they want with guns, to take over the bridge when they want to. It's stupid as fuck. They don't think this is what happens when soap opera writers take over your science fiction show with deep lore that goes beyond any. I mean, I know you're well versed in it, but beyond anything I know, I am an average fan of average intelligence. This stuff is retarded. There's no other better way to describe it. And it's funny that that's the thing that takes out the Federation. But what season 3 did was it ended the story of the mirror universe. It ended the Romulan story. It ended the Vulcan story. Stories I wanted a much better ending to, and I think there was a lot more stories to tell. But now, because they say this takes place in their canon, which I refuse to believe, but that's what they say, that ends those stories. And that really does inhibit any writers in the future, because they have to write to this shit. I think out of all the franchises, this is the easiest one to erase and ignore, and I think it will be done. I actually do think that Paramount will wake up one day, find somebody competent to try that. I don't think it'll help, but I think they will wake up someday, give Star Trek to somebody competent, and this will all be erased. This will all be shit canned. No doubt in my mind. Or you're just going to have to get rid of your franchise forever. And even if that happens, I don't know if that's going to help, because you haven't grown the fan base. It is eroding as we speak. You covered it pretty damn well. The ratings from season 1 that was put on CBS on prime time on a Thursday night, and it couldn't grow an audience at all. It had the same audience. It was the same people watching it night after night.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you actually have you talked yet about the last ratings for STD season 1 this last Thursday?
No, I have not.
Oh, well, Gary, I hate to tell you, but Star Trek Discovery was last in its night. Everything else beat it, including, Gary, a rerun of Mom and a rerun of The Unicorn. A rerun of The Unicorn beat first broadcast of STD. And this has been going on a while. I mean, this is like, it's got to be like, what, 12, 13 episodes into the first season now? It's something like that, 10, 11. So it is not built. In fact, it has shrunk. It was dead last in terms of demographic ratings, in terms of share. It was a 2.0 again, right where it started. And it had 1.6. I think it was 1 point down to 1.6 million views.
So it was 1.596. You're right. 1.6. It's 0.20 in the 18 to 49, which is essentially 200,000 people. 200,000. So out of the 1.596 million people watching the show, the number of people within the demographic that were watching it was 200,000. So that was less than 10% of the audience, right? If my math is correct, less than 10% of the audience was part of the key demographic, meaning, and it's not kids, meaning that the same million or so over 50s are watching this show.
Absolutely. And I would not be surprised, actually, Gary, if a lot of those were geriatrics that simply either could not get up off the sofa to change the channel, had fallen asleep, or had fallen just period and forgotten their clapper. You know, they hadn't had their clap on, clap off, their medical alert thing. A captive audience, dude. I think it's Mima and Peepaw that were watching Mom and the Unicorn and fell asleep.
I found something else interesting that I haven't done full investigation on about CBS All Access, other than I tried to sign in because, yes, I pay for it, but guess what, CBS? I share my fucking password like a million people. So I do pay for it though, because I do, I went to go sign in at the gym to watch, because I'm reviewing the fucking show, and I'm watching the stupid thing, and you know, it keeps pushing off my Cobra Kai, which is making me more angry every day. And I went to go sign in, and I noticed something funny. You can sign in through your provider too, if you have like a cable, if you still get the cable, if you haven't cut your cord, it says sign in. And I haven't seen that before. I used to see sign in to CBS All Access, just sign in to CBS All Access, because you got to pay for it. But are people getting it free now through their Comcast, through their Cox?
I think so. Yeah.
Are they counting those as subscribers?
I don't know.
Because I think they would, which means you're just essentially getting it free with your cable bill. So I would question any number of subscribers they have at some point. Lady Gravemaster passed on some information that Watts, the woman who's in charge of shit at Paramount, she apparently needs some help. So they hired 2 people to give her help. Apparently Paramount Plus, the rollout is not going well at all. They realize that this thing is dead on arrival, it's essentially just a rebranding of CBS, by the way. They're not changing anything. They're just putting Paramount on it. And I can tell you, as somebody who's used the CBS All Access app a lot, it's shit. It's filled with artifacts. It's filled with frame drops. That stuff bothers me. Amazon Prime is really bad at that. They fucking Bezos, you're a trillionaire. Fix the frame drops, man, because the Expanse, they did this panning scene, right? And it was going doom, 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 you know, and like, you know, I've got decent internet. It's not the best in the world, but I got decent internet. But I hate that shit, because I used to work in metadata. So I used to try to keep that from happening. But it's horrible. It looks terrible. And if you look at something on Netflix, you love or hate Netflix. It's in a beautiful 4K, right? And when Amazon Prime does put something up once in a while that looks beautiful, they are so far ahead of these crappy services that are just going to die on the vine. Even Disney Plus, which has the immensely popular Mandalorian, and probably an episode of The Mandalorian is probably the most watched thing on a streaming service ever. We were just talking about this, that people are probably, people are probably watching that Luke scene like you watch a porn. I mean, they're just got it on a loop, and it is porn in a way. So I don't know how it survives. And I fully predict Star Trek will be sold at some point. It's gonna have to be, if it's gonna continue. There's no way Viacom CBS can afford to put this garbage out anymore. You can tell this season was like they took Saru's makeup off. I'm betting they ran out of money and time to put Saru's makeup on. Like I would
not be surprised. You're right.
And the last 3 episodes were 1 episode. So they probably shot it in blocks, right? So they to save time and money. And they had another 2-parter in there as well. And you could see them cutting corners left and right. They shot on location in Iceland for the first 2 episodes. Then the rest of the time it was on a set. Mm-hmm. And a repurposed set. By the way, you're in Booker, Michael Burnham's boyfriend. He's in his little space wedge. That bridge is immense. You ever see for his little ship?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's ludicrous.
It's ridiculous. And it's the same set. That's the bridge for the fucking Discovery. You can see the shape of it. It's the same fucking thing. And yeah, he's in a little ship, right? A smaller ship than the Discovery. And he's in a bridge that's as big as the Discovery's bridge, which is too big as well, too. Those things it's fucking dumb how big they make. And then it reminded me of that Picard ship that looked like they were inside of a garage.
Yeah. Yeah. Old Rios. His ridiculous what was it called?
Not Rocinante.
The not Rocinante. Yeah, we'll just call it that.
Yeah, the not Rocinante.
Not Rocinante. Yeah,
thieves. They're fucking thieves. So I don't know. It's amazing that I can't believe they got a season 4 of this shit. I can't believe that we got a season 3 of this shit. When I was looking back on it, I'm like, how did this fucking happen? Nobody likes this show. I looked, it didn't trend on Twitter. Again, the show hasn't trended on Twitter for 40 weeks since its very first episode. I have checked every time. It has not trended on Twitter once, a single time, for anything other than the announcement for Spock and Pike. But that wasn't during the season. That wasn't during an actual show. It was just an announcement. That's all they built this show on. This whole show, this whole season was you know what it was about? It was about lack of resources and identity. It's identity politics, the TV show.
It is indeed. Pronoun Trek. Pronouns. You left out about the pronouns, the whole pronoun thing. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Gary, is that the announcement of the then unknown Captain Pike and Spock show goes to prove a valuable lesson about Kurtzman Trek. The only possibly good Kurtzman Trek is one that is entirely unknown. The minute that it manifests, when it ceases to be theoretical and people actually see the Kurtzman Trek, it ceases to be good. It can only be good as a forlorn hope by a bunch of beaten down Trekkies who are praying to God that it will be okay, and it's never okay. We know that from Alex Kurtzman now. It's never going to be okay again.
No, Strange New Worlds is going to be absolute garbage. Everybody's holding out. Well, it's got Pike. It's going to be garbage. And it's got Rebecca Romaine, right? Who I usually like. She's probably going to be running the show. She will probably be the same female character that they write. They cannot remember when Alex Kurtzman said he wrote female characters better. No, he can't. He can't write anything better. His women are all the same. They're these stuck up, annoying, just caricatures. They're caricatures. I don't know if he has ever acted. It's very much, the crew of the Discovery probably reflects best in real life a Hollywood writer's room.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of neurotic, mentally ill people who follow trends like it's a religion. And I mean, they went as far as to hire a non-binary actor and a gender fluid actor, and they were just there to be non-binary and gender fluid. They spent an entire episode setting up Adira, and then Adira just pined for her boyfriend for a week. She was working on an algorithm for the rest of the season. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And it's like and it's almost like you wrote it that people who are members of the alphabet community just sit there and talk about their relationships and shit all the time because of their narrow point of view or whatever. I don't know, but it didn't do this neither actor any service, because they probably brought them on as what Zach calls a purse puppy. It was a giant virtue signal, and they didn't bring them on for their talent because they weren't ready. I don't mean to be too cruel to these because they took a job, and I would take it too if I was offered that job, but you weren't ready for it. It was not the highlight of your career. It did not expose your strength as an actor. You can tell that you were hired as a diversity hire, and they weren't the only one. There was that guy in the wheelchair who showed up in the end of it like he was a main character throughout the entire season, which was fucking random as hell. And we'll talk about that. But no, they didn't do anybody any favors. And it just looked like a giant virtue signal. So much so that even fucking SJW sites are calling you out for it. That's how bad you are at shit, Kurtzman. When I'm in agreement with Polygon about fucking anything, that's bad.
Yeah. Yo, it's terrible. They've lost so many of the regular Drekkies, their core Drekkie audience, the ones that have been loyal. There was that rebellion in that group I was talking about.
Yep.
That I documented in that video, where somebody said, Mikey Spock, God, she's not really the bestest ever. She's kind of boring, and I'm getting sick and tired of watching her emote like crazy every episode. And then, I mean, am I wrong? And then other people are saying, come to think of it, Mikey Spock really isn't the bestest ever. And then by the end of it, It was, Mikey Spock is basically Satan fucking a donkey, and that's when they pulled the plug. It's like it got to that point. Oh, all right, never mind. It was like a come home to Jesus, unfolding in real time. That entire thread lasted only 10 hours before the mods pulled it, and that is emblematic of them losing their cred, losing their religion, as REM would put it, and their religion is Mikey Spock. And at this point, got a lot of apostates that are no longer on the Mikey Spock boat.
No, it's a parallel course with Doctor Who. We're going to talk about a little bit because there might be some. I don't know. I got a feeling about something I just want to talk about, but they followed this character that nobody likes. Your TV show needs characters. We need somebody to root for. We need somebody to identify with. And this is very important addition to that on a human level, not on an identity level, on a human level. I need to root for this person. I need to relate to their needs and to their wants. And, I want to feel bad when they lose. I want to like this person on a human level. I don't need to be able to pretend I'm this person because I'm an adult and I don't pretend I'm a character in a TV show. I haven't done that since I was 7. And that's the biggest problem with this show is they just got these cardboard cutouts that were there for identity. The rest of the crew was never supposed to act in this show. They were always supposed to be background to nod at Michael Burnham. And then they were forced to make them act. And we found out that it's a bunch of Colgate commercial actors and car insurance actors in the background. And they do not have the ability to work in a show that they're supposedly putting millions of dollars in. And they just continue with this farce. This whole thing is a farce. They're putting on a show outside the show, pretending that people like this, that it's actually popular. And it's just Kurtzman, fooling a bunch of bankers. That's all it is. He keeps fooling people into giving him money for this show that does damage to the overall brand. The same we've been, and we've been attacked for it when we are trying to protect something that they could make money off of in the future. But no, they want to stick with this venture for some reason. Okay. At this point, we're just chronicling its demise, and it's hilarious. It's really funny how fucking bad this show got.
I actually was laughing, man. I was laughing. I mean, I know I was supposed to be angry, but at this point, it's just watching a bunch of buffoons essentially soil themselves and then face paint with it. I mean, with the production in their pants, that's what they're doing. They're playing with their own poop, and it's just like it's not degrading me, it's degrading them. For God's sakes, these are some of the worst scripts ever written in human history. These are not characters. They haven't had one genuine, real moment in the entirety of the show. I mean, you talk about epic moments. I cannot find one moment of real human connection. I cannot find one moment that I felt was genuine. And to me, that is the death of it. Think about Star Trek. Every fucking series of Star Trek, even Enterprise, which is, not great shakes, in my opinion, had genuine, heartwarming moments of great humor. There isn't a fucking intentionally funny moment on this show. Not one epic moment, not one funny moment, not one warm moment, not one clever moment, not one interesting moment. This is an absolute disgrace and a fail on every conceivable level that has nothing to do with Star Trek. It is just woefully inadequate as the product of a human being that allegedly has the power of speech and thought. I have seen little evidence of this.
Oh, not all motor functions are going on. Listen. Oh, dude. What happens in the episode? It's so fucking dumb. Okay. So at the end of the season, I'm not even going to tell you how to get there. They're 930 years in the future. They found the Federation, which turns out to be a bunch of ships circling another ship in the middle of space. The Federation's not even at Earth anymore. They went to Earth for a minute. They picked up the bestest scientist ever, Adira, who's non-binary teenager with a ghost boyfriend. Yes, who will only interact with the gay couple on the ship because the alphabet team members can only interact with each other for most of the season. That's all they do.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's like talk about segregation. Talk about discrimination. They are just in little cliques. And that's it, man. That is it. They are not an integrated crew. It's sad.
No, that isn't what Star Trek is about. The Star Trek is about these characters interacting with each other, problem solving together and the allegory is supposed to be through aliens or some situation. And instead it's always the characters the plot contrivances through this horrific disaster of a story, which I can't even call a story. At some point, Paul Stamets adopted Adira, and he calls her his daughter, which is a pretty big assumption because I don't think he's had that conversation. And she's not the kind of person who would probably like that assumption because she got offended at her ghost boyfriend not talking to her for 4 days. I'm sorry, talking to them for 4 days. My bad. Not really. I'm not sorry. So the burn, this big thing was caused by a retarded Kelpian. So the Kelpian, which I guess they lived for a long time, was left in a hologram by his mother who died of radiation. And the Kelpian didn't die on a planet that's surrounded by a nebula that's radiating because it's a planet made of dilithium. But because he was born next to it, all of a sudden he incorporated some of it in his physiology. And now he's part of the dilithium. So when his mom died, he had a tantrum, screamed, and that blew up every ship in the Federation.
Yeah. No, that is it. For some reason, being born next to some dilithium caused him to scream and ignite all the dilithium across the entire universe, which is kind of like me. If I was born in, say, East Texas, in the oil fields, and I happen to light one of my farts and blow up all the petroleum on Earth. That's essentially what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
I'm glad I wasn't, born next to an oil field, and B, I've never lit a fart. I've heard that this is something that can be done. I've never seen it. I've never done it. Thank God I could have ended the world.
Yeah, it's a blue flame.
It's a blue flame.
It's a methane fart. So the flame is blue. And
if it's not, then does that mean see a doctor?
See a doctor.
That might be a valuable diagnostic tool. It's like, well, did you light your fart? Yeah, it did. Well, was it blue? No, it was red. You better go seek help, brother.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Oh, and like I can't even get into like how much stupid shit happened. Like there was this 3-part episode where for 3 episodes, by the way, the retarded Kelpian, his name is Sukal or Suck All. And he through 3 episodes, they're talking to him 3 episodes.
Oh, I know, man. I know. That is mind blowing. Why didn't they just grab Timmy's fucking hand, stick it on the fucking plate, and say end program in Kelpian? Why didn't they just do that instead of like talking to him about his feelings, his few-fees? Oh, I will maybe push the button. No, I won't push the button. No, and then everything shakes and the camera turns upside down, and he's like, well, maybe I will push the button. And it's like, I'm gonna go push. No, I can't. I'm not gonna push the button. My mommy. And the camera shakes some more, and something blows up somewhere. Rinse and repeat, dude. Rinse and repeat. Is that essentially was it, right?
Yep.
What in God's name was going on?
I don't know what the meaning of this is supposed to be. I'm trying to think of it. Like,
God, it's so bad. And like ghost boyfriend is like suddenly visible now.
Oh yeah.
Like the hologram went ahead and perceived him because the hologram is fucking what? Edgar Casey or something?
It can read minds now.
Like it can Madam, what's her name? Toussaint, Blavatsky. The hologram was programmed by Madame Blavatsky to see ghosts, and also it's an AI that had watched Ghost with Patrick Swayze, and went ahead and gave form to this kid, and it looks like the kid. I don't know how it can actually make it look like the kid, since
it went as far as to make the kid look like a Vulcan. Remember, everybody was different.
Yes.
To make it more comfortable. So that's why Sorrow was human. And I believe wasn't Michael Burnham. What the hell was she?
Culber was supposed to be, I think, a Bajoran.
Right?
Because of the earring, but otherwise you wouldn't really get it.
And then, so Gray was a Vulcan, and so
it still looked like him.
Yeah, but it's perceived him as a different alien than he was, and that was dumb. So it can read a mind, and remember, this hologram was failing. It was degrading. It was male functioning.
Yeah. Oh.
Male functioning.
What is your major male function?
Male functioning. And so but it was able to do that. It's just filled with stupidity. And then there was an entire in the second part of the 3-parter, we went full on Space Jesus Die Hard. Michael Burnham went in and was crawling through, fucking little access, tubes and shit, talking to the enemy on her radio or her little fucking communicator. And there was a point where her shoes came off. Even it was Die Hard Michael Burnham, and it was fucking cringe as hell. There were other episodes in the season. They got rid of Yum Yum at one point, and we were introduced to Adira. The worst one was Unification Part 3, which was just sacrilege to call it, where we find out that the Vulcan and Romulan story end. In each one of those episodes, they all end the same way. They should have talked to Michael Burnham, and they had a good cry. That sums up all of the episodes. They should have talked to Michael Burnham and had a good cry. And that there's crying. Oh my god.
Oh my god. No. And I want you to ask Mrs. Nerdrotic, because she has this expertise. What was the fucking hologram program thinking in dyeing the Vulcan's hair bright blue?
Yeah.
It was bright blue. It was like, why? Because
SJW Vulcan
choices. Yeah. This looked like a Vulcan that might go ree at any moment. Ree. Yep. Had the bright blue hair. Looked like basically like a 45-year-old mom regretting certain choices in her life and dyeing her hair blue and then getting made fun of at the accountant's firm when she went back to work Monday. It was a bad idea. I don't know, man. It just struck me as, what the fuck is this? Why? How would this even happen? How would this program even visualize that kid like that?
And the fact that they don't think about this stuff, and like somebody fucking has to, and they get overpowered. They're like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It just doesn't matter because nothing Star Trek matters to these people.
No, they don't care.
And I mean these people, these fucking insipid I don't want to say the rest. Insipid assholes who work in the writer's room who disdain the audience and try to bake that into the scripts. This is an old formula now. It's been an old formula for a long, long time, but it's just not going to play anymore. That's why I believe some big changes are coming. There's no way if CBS Viacom gives us a 5th season of Star Trek Discovery, that'd be the funniest thing ever, to be honest with you. But nobody's watching the show. Nobody's talking about this show. Even the people who are pissed off at the show are kind of moving on at this point. And what Doomcock said earlier, and I tweeted this, it's as unintentionally funny as Batwoman now. It's getting really close. Like, it's just a laugh to watch it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, there's no point to it. I mean, like Star Trek used to be filled with meaning and classic episodes and shit you can talk about. And now it's even the people who like this stuff, they're still just throwing out excuses for it. Well, that kind of felt like Star Trek. So we're 3 seasons in, and there was a moment that kind of felt like Star Trek to you. Okay. And I don't even know where you go from here. I honestly don't. I mean, they're pissing away money. The franchise is pissed away at this point. And this, like, it even felt like an end. So they get the kid away from there. There's a planet full of dilithium. So now they defeat the Emerald Chain. By the way, the Emerald Chain, there was a scene where the smarter, greener Samantha Bee sits down with Admiral Vance, who finally did something besides standing in front of a screen, because that's all he did.
That's all he does. Yeah.
He sat down and we ate food, and we found out he uttered one of the most self-descriptive lines in the history of Star Trek Discovery. It's made of shit. And that's when he was eating an apple. And the replicator repurposes shit into food. So
yeah, that's Star Trek Discovery in a nutshell. Only it's not food, it's shit. It repurposes shit into shit. That's the real problem with Star Trek Discovery. If it was food, it might have some kind of faux nutritious value. You talked about earlier, Gary, that Star Trek Discovery, you can't really even compare it fairly to junk food, because junk food can be kind of pleasing at times. Basically, Star Trek Discovery is like a hot dog made out of cardboard. So it looks like a hot dog. You bite into it and it has absolutely no flavor. Absolutely no flavor. Either that or someone pooped in it and it squirts. But other than that, I don't know. But it really is empty. It's beyond empty. It really is. It's like fuck that cardboard hot dog. It's like eating the little cardboard thingy that holds the hot dog, that is empty of the hot dog, but has a picture of the hot dog on the side. And it says hot dog on the other side.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Vapid, empty, soulless storytelling. To borrow a phrase from Robert Meyer Burnett, it's a crime against imagination. It's done irreparable damage to the brand, one of the greatest brands out there, one of the greatest shows of all time that brought happiness and joy to millions. This has been taken away by a repurposing fucking person who is devoid of talent, of any talent, and somehow bought his way into the industry. That's the only way I can think of. He had a writing partner with Roberto Orci. He was somewhat successful with Roberto Orci, and once he was gone, Alex Kurtzman, you see the true Alex Kurtzman. They don't follow through with their own canon. They even got the timeline of the burn mixed up. It started out 120 years. By the end of the season, it was 125 years. But at the end is the worst. So the worst isn't. So the burn, like, you would think that they would do some time thing to undo this, because this is a horrible way to end the Federation. No. The Federation is now restarted in Michael Burnham's image. They got new uniforms that look almost exactly like freaking communist China fucking uniforms, which is apropos. They defeated the Emerald Chain, which represented capitalism. The smarter, greener Samantha Bee sat down with Admiral Vance, eating shit, and made a pretty decent proposal. Like, hey, I'll give up all the bad things we did, right? And we will start working with you so we can start working together. I won't even be the face of the organization, and we can start moving forward and, getting things going again. And it would speed it up. And Admiral Vance goes, it sounds good, but I need you to pay for your crimes. I need you to go to jail. And that was just the dumbest fucking cringe thing, because it's supposed to show that they still have ideals. He just damned, because he doesn't know that they're going to, like, right now, while they're having this negotiation, they still have no dilithium. So they don't know that. He just damned a bunch of planets who are not going to eat anymore. I mean, you had the most powerful organization willing to concede. Wasn't perfect or anything, but in that situation, it was just a stupid scene for one to sit down and explain things. And the biggest problem with this is, sure, the Emerald Chain might have committed atrocities, but I saw one slave camp. Okay, one for like a minute. We don't know if that was are there many? Was that the only one? We had no idea of this world. We had no idea what the Federation was. Again, it was just a bunch of ships circling another ship, and they were all cloaked. We only saw a couple of other planets. We don't know what parts of the Federation are still there, what aren't there. And they were supposed to be out of dilithium, but there was people warping all over the place.
Yep.
So fucking what the hell? And how did the Emerald Chain get so far ahead of the Federation? Even a Federation without dilithium was the Federation. You think we could have still communicated? The Gorn messed up 2 years of subspace. They never explain that, but you can still travel through subspace. There's just some junk there for some reason. Not really sure how you can do that either. Everything is vapid and empty. They don't explain enough. They just fill it full of feelings. It's feelings in space, a bunch of crying. Tilly becomes motherfucking Captain Tilly.
Captain Ensign Tilly. Captain Ensign Tilly. It's just, it's pathetic. I want to know why the hologram program didn't put Mom in the program just to keep Junior happy. Why didn't it put Mom in the program? Why is the hologram, since it's changing the appearance of Culver and Saru and whoever the hell else is in there, why can't it like cosmetically make it so their faces aren't rotting off? I mean, it is just, changing their appearance. Why do we have to have the sores just to remind us that space is a dangerous place? What difference does it make if Timmy ends the hologram program or not? I mean, if there's a big planet of dilithium down there, can't they just move in and mine it no matter what Timmy's doing in his little starship?
It gets all lost in that saccharin. That's what they go for, because that's the biggest difference between season 3 and season 1 and 2. Season 1 and 2 still has the same plot holes and still has just illogic, just tons of it everywhere. But this season was just filled with the gushy feelings, crying shit, and no men. So where season 1 had the toxic male Captain Lorca and had the competent male who they had to constantly cucked and pike, they just removed him from the equation. Book ended up being a girlfriend to Michael Burnham, to where she fixed his spaceship for him. And Saru, the captain, they constantly showed how compromised and incompetent he was. So by the end, he goes with little Timmy to his planet to help him. He gives up his captainship, which was the most important thing to him. To help little Timmy on his planet to make way for Michael Burnham, who completed her hero's journey, which was, you should have made me captain all along. You should have listened to me all along. It just took everybody 3 seasons to get there.
And it repeated failures on the part of Michael Burnham in every conceivable way along the way. But she remained, despite all of her cringe failures, idiotic attempts to make sonar in space and so on and so forth, the bestest ever. It's just sad when people will not see past repeated failures and incompetence to the bestest ever that's motivating them. I just don't understand that. It's their lack of vision, as Palpatine famously said. You should pay for your lack of vision. Well, yeah, geez, they were blinded by her incompetence. They didn't see until too late how wonderful she was.
And we finally reached the end. Saru's on an extended leave, and it actually felt like an end of a series. It did. They didn't mention Earth. I don't know what could possibly be exciting about rebuilding a Federation. These people are so incompetent in their writing. They had the perfect template, and they just spent 3 seasons destroying it. Sounds like Doctor Who, doesn't it? And it's because of their limits as writers. Well, I'd argue they can't write at all, but they've, it's difficult to take on intellectual property that's been around for decades and continue to store. It's very difficult. But the reason you pay for that is the built-in audience. The reason anything is worth money is that built-in guaranteed audience. The problem is they're only buying it for the brand. They don't really want Captain Kirk. As a matter of fact, the people in charge of Star Trek right now disdain William Shatner and Captain Kirk, and it's obvious. They've made no secret of it. And he's still what makes Star Trek for the most part. And you're finding out with Star Wars that Luke Skywalker he was still pretty much Star Wars. And with the Doctor, a male doctor is what makes the Doctor a doctor. And these are hard truths for the NPCs who control these brands to deal with, but they're going to have to start dealing with them now. And it sucks. It does suck to be wrong, but we're all wrong at some points in our lives. And we have been right all along. Every single one of us who has been criticizing the show, we were fucking right. Here we are, franchise in ashes. Does this sound familiar, Doctor Who fans? Here we are, lording over the garbage that you've left over us. You've driven everybody off. You've got no fucking future whatsoever. So you make another season. Big deal. I mean, that's the victory that keeps getting thrown at us is we got another season. Oh, so you were justifying shit. You were given another piece of shit and you're calling that a victory. Okay, fine.
Oh yeah. These idiots in charge of these franchises and driving them into the ground. They are essentially, when you buy something like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, just like you said, you are buying the fan base. You are buying the identification in a lot of people's minds of this particular property with their lives and everything that came before in the narrative. And when you completely disregard that, it's basically like buying Kentucky Fried Chicken and saying, from now on, we're selling pizzas. Pizzas, soy, granola pizzas. That's what it is. And it just makes that much sense, Gary, that they're absolutely putting all this money into buying these things and then completely trying to make them not the things that they paid for, which is absolutely nuts. People, why the fuck would anybody want any of that? And they don't. And you talked about Doctor Who earlier, Gary. Last week, I think it was last week, I said, somebody asked me, where did the Doctor get the extra TARDIS that she used to zap the Daleks in this last special? And I said, well, it turns out that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor's ass is bigger on the inside than it appears on the outside. And she just had that TARDIS up her ass the whole time. And speaking of things up the asses that are much bigger on the inside than they look on the outside, the turbo lift. Oh. The turbo lift inside Discovery is something that the empty space inside Discovery, whereby these little turbo pods fly around with Sonic the Hedgehog-like abandon, is so fucking big. It's like Christ. It's like it would dwarf. You could fit the Grand Canyon in there, I think. It's so ridiculous. It's insultingly, insanely ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but the so-called action sequence inside the turbo shaft was superlatively funny.
It's this giant gaping massive whatever in space. So like they're in the Discovery, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Turbo lifts don't come through. They're not in a lift. They're just like little boxes that float around inside a big gaping. There's no understanding of size. The thing had to be so big. The Discovery's not that big, and it's beyond description. But it's like a giant roller. Well, it was a roller coaster in was it last season? It was last season, so it's different from this season now. It's actually different from last season.
Well, yeah, because before it had like the pinball guides that were curling and spiraling and like Sonic, like a roller coaster at Six Flags or something.
Yep.
But now they took away the tracks and it is just kind of levitating through little stargates, or I don't know,
it had it was making little frames for itself as it was going through, but it was pointless. It really just shows how pointless this show is. We'll see if we get more. I don't know. It's stuff like this, and it's because they're making it in this intersectional way. It is clearly intersectionality and identity politics, the show. They specifically, all the male characters were non-threatening, feminine. Even Book had a giant cat. Michael Burnham had to fix his ship. I mentioned that over and over again because they deliberately put that in there. That's not anything that added anything to the show other than we wanted to show that Michael Burnham was fixing her boyfriend's ship. It didn't add anything, but it just showed their disdain for men. Star Trek is supposed to be egalitarian. That's what everybody loved about it. Men and women work together as equals. There are no equals in this show. There is a bunch of flawed, mentally ill people worshiping a really flawed, mentally ill sociopath named Michael Burnham.
That's it. That's
this is what it best reflects is a writer's room in Hollywood. A bunch of sociopathic, narcissist, fucking neurotic a-holes together who use terms like Latinx, have pronouns, and don't understand. I mean, they're just so far disconnected from reality right now. And it gets hidden on the streaming service and it gets saved by Netflix, but I don't know for how long. But go ahead, make more of it. That's fine. I mean, I am okay with it being dead. I have enough Star Trek to enjoy. I can go back and enjoy my old Star Trek, and this doesn't really affect it. I'm an original series, what I call Star Trek first. Star Trek hasn't been affected for me. Next Generation, it hasn't affected me as much as Doomcock, but every time I see Picard on screen now, I think of that Picard show. That's not good. You don't want me thinking of that. And they don't have an audience left. They just flat out don't have an audience. And when you have a split audience, that might have seemed like a good philosophy and a good economy. You had people talking on the internet. You're getting a bunch of free advertising over all the discourse, but then eventually the discourse stops and apathy sets in. And that's where we're at. I can guarantee you when Doomcock and I talk about the show, when I talk about the show and I say, how many people actually watched it in the chat? The vast majority did not and doesn't care to. That's not good. That's not good.
They're smart. They have made up their minds. They understand that this thing is not Star Trek. I mean, it intersects with Star Trek the way that a donkey's hooves intersects with a guy's head. It's just it leaves a mark, but it's not a good mark, and the guy never gets up again quite the same way as he went down. And that's basically Star Trek. Star Trek has got the hoof print of the arch donkey Kurtzman right in its frontal lobotomy area. It's just, whoa dear.
The only thing this season accomplished was putting an expiration date on the Romulans, the Vulcans, the Mirror Universe, the Federation, and Star Trek. That's it. And it's a sad way to go. It's a sad and pathetic way to go. There's a lot of very talented writers out there who are being kept out of Hollywood who are much better than anybody in this writer's room. Michelle Paradise is a joke. She is the worst showrunner of the worst season in the history of Star Trek. So yay, women. You can be as incompetent as men, as we always thought. I am positive there is a woman out there who could write some damn good Star Trek that they have just kept out, or just never bothered giving a shot to, or never bothered taking a shot. I would hope that you find your way when more competent people own this show. To the bankers at CBS, you're the idiots. Kurtzman isn't. I mean, you offered him a contract. He took the money. You knew what you were getting. You were getting the director of The Mummy, the guy who destroyed the Dark Universe franchise cinematic universe, who destroyed a Spider-Man cinematic universe with one movie, one of the most bankable characters in the history of characters. and people hated it. This guy has priors. You knew better. So I'm not letting you off the hook anymore. You guys are a bunch of morons, and we tried to help you save your show. You didn't want to listen, so may it burn in ashes. Let's get to some super chats, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Doctor Who, because I do have a theory. Because we are well over a week into Jodie quitting, and it looks pretty clear she is fucking gone. Like they're like, I thought it would force a statement, but it got picked up by larger and larger outlets, and now you have people pretty much are resigned that she has resigned. And I wanted to see if we'd ever get anything official, which we eventually will, because she is fucking gone. But that's not the bigger issue, I think, because it doesn't matter. The show's fucked. But let's get to these super chats first. Jaeger Bomb 2 for $5. I fear for the future, as it looks like freedom of speech is dead. Do you two have backup plans when YouTube bans you? I don't know. I don't think we are safe. Yeah, I mean, I do. I have to implement them, and that's going to take time that I don't have, because I'm in the middle of a goddamn move right now, getting the hell out of California. That's part of my backup plan, is getting out of California so things are a little cheaper, so I can implement a plan B. That's part of the plan. Yes. So but I have to hurry. Doomcock, we lost Dave Cullen on YouTube today. One of his
I saw that was one of the few little bits of news I did see, and Jesus, that's totally screwed up.
It is. Dave talks about stuff that we don't get into because we're pop culture channels, but I would like to publicly thank Dave Cullen. My channel would not have grown if it wasn't for a very kind and unsolicited shout out that he gave my channel during the Doctor Who days, during series 11 that he gave to Bulls Trek and yours truly here. And he put it in a video, and it really did help the channel. He did not have to do that. We have tried to get together many, many times for conversations, and we just never could get the scheduling right. But I've talked to him once in a while. He is a good guy. He is a nonviolent guy, very nonviolent guy. He is really a philosopher. He's into reason. He will tackle some subjects that are considered quote unquote controversial, which I do not. I just think you're simply questioning big tech and questioning the authoritative sources. And that got him silenced, and that should shake everyone to the core. Now his other channel is still up. Computing Forever is still there. I don't think he's going to, knowing Dave, I don't think he'd even bother fighting at this point. He was already moving on to alt tech. And his channel was getting suppressed because he used to get a lot of views. I don't think none of this is good. No, it's not good. It's a bad day for America. It's a bad day for the world. And hopefully they think better of it. But as I said on Twitter, when I tweeted right at Jack Dorsey, welcome to the bottom of the slippery slope. Zontar for 5 Canadian pesos. I oppose legislation so long as my taxes pay for saving ODs and medicating drugs. Make drug users pay for the damage they do, and then I'm fine. There is a certain part of me that I'm not that hip on taxation, but that's why I'm for legalization. I am for legalization, and then you tax that product, and then that product pays for the consequences of that product. That I am for. Plus, there's the humanity part of it, though. The fact of the matter is, though, as an addict, I know that whether you make a drug or a substance legal or not, doesn't matter. People are still going to find it. The same number of people will find it. Making something legal would be negligible as far as upticking in abuse. I think there's been a lot of data that backs that up. But now, we have times like now that have upticked abuse, alcohol abuse, all kinds of abuse, because people are mentally strained. It's been tough. If you're new to the channel, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So people ask me these questions once in a while, and there's not much you can do about it. Judicon for $5. Hail Gary and Doomcock. I finally realized the theme of Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery. The needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many. I agree. I totally agree with that.
I would actually revise that to say the needs of the none outweigh the needs of the many, since she's absolutely nothing in my book.
Yep. Vigilante Williamson. Hail VW. Good dude right there. Go check out his channel. He joins me on my member stream for $2. Hail Gary and Doomcock. You are our only hope. Well, I think the takeover plan, the world domination plan, might be in order. I'm not so sure on the button, but I'm really all for the Doomcock taking over the world with giant robots.
It is proceeding. It is proceeding, my friend. Thank you. Snow and power outages notwithstanding.
Yes, I am down with that. If you need any help with that, let me know.
Thank you.
Bionic Belly Button for $10. That charity stream was amazing, and I'm so proud to be a part of this community. Hail to everyone that was able to donate their time. Thank you, Bionic Belly Button. What we've done together, Bionic Belly Button and Scott Hudson and Woke Troll and Vigilante Williamson and Doomcock and all the Doomentites and Dominions. And Jeremy over there, Geeks and Gamers. It's been incredible. It's incredible taking something that was just us needing to go somewhere to vent, right? About something we loved for years being torn apart. And then we find out it's part of something much, much bigger because we got together, we exchanged information, we talked to each other. And then through that, we heard from people from the inside. And through that, we are here today, where out of the Pablo Hidalgo situation, something amazing happened. So Pablo Hidalgo attacks Star Wars fan, children's charity gets $30,000. That's what you call flipping something around. And that is through the hard work of Doomcock and Bionic Belly Button and Scott Hudson and Woke Troll and Vigilante Williamson and all the other channels and all the other people who take the time to participate in these chats. And you know, the super chats are brilliant. Thank you so much. But even if you just are here, just being here helps. And we appreciate your valuable time. As always, even the people who don't like us out there, and to turn something like that positive, that's why I'm on cloud 9 right now. Even with Star Trek Discovery just sucking, I knew it would suck. We knew it'd suck. Do you think it's going to be a big surprise, Doomcock, if anything with Kurtzman's name on it sucks in the future? Probably not.
No. It's like jumping into a pool and being surprised that you come out wet. It's just, Jesus, it's just physics. Look, at this point, I don't think Kurtzman's ever been involved in anything that, in my estimation, was acceptable. So, I mean, don't be surprised when people tell you who they are. Stop watching their goddamn TV show.
Yeah,
it's just that's simple.
Yeah, I mean, if Anson Mount was Captain Pike and it was written by Ronald D. Moore, sign me up. I'm there.
He would have. Yeah, I was actually. I was thinking, holy shit! When I saw Anson Mount was cast, I was like, I kind of raised my eyebrows and I said, "Well, looks like they finally did something right." But the way it was implemented was just as bad as it could possibly be.
Well, that shows you. We saw with that actress who was in season 2, who was the Mushroom. She represented the Mushroom Network, right? And then she was in Expanse, right?
Yeah.
Night and day. It's night and day. It's like she's good in the Expanse, she's garbage in Star Trek Discovery. Well, it's the writing.
Although she pissed me off royally.
Yeah, but she's supposed to.
I know, God damn it, but I'm so fucking mad.
Yeah,
I want to. Yeah, just shove her out the fucking. I want to space her. I want to see her get the Ashford treatment, because that kind of just mindless, unreasoning hatred and nastiness. It's just like, yeah, somebody like that, just space them. I can't believe she still isn't spaced. When is she going to get spaced? Damn it. Pissing me off.
You got to remember, season 5 is the Empire Strikes Back.
I know. I know. You know, kind of like Cobra Kai. It had like a little mini Empire Strikes Back, I think. I don't know. Have you seen it yet?
No, I've been.
Oh no, you still haven't seen it. You got to see
Star
it so we can talk
Star
about
Trek
it. Next week we'll
Discovery, you
talk
gotta
about it.
blame
You have to
Star
watch
Trek
it.
Discovery. Oh, fucking
Jesus Christ, you're watching Star Trek Discovery, and you're watching. Your soul needs help, man. You need the vitamins to even you out, dude. This is Cobra Kai. I mean, my opinion of Cobra Kai. I said it before, and it'll be no. I won't even say it. I'll just let you watch it and see what you think.
I'm gonna watch it probably tomorrow. Yeah, because I'm done. I can't do Star Trek Discovery anymore. I'm just gonna shit out that review and just move on because I've spent enough time on it, and I had to catch up on a bunch of other things. So now I'm behind again. So it just never ends. I'm glad I did. I had a video I was going to release and I didn't because of all the real life stuff going on right now. But a bunch of people wanted me to release it. They needed the escapism. So it's like, I probably should have, but I didn't. Aluvrian. Oh my God. How am I supposed to say this?
Aluvrian Imikara
for $5. Thank you. Is anyone else uncomfortable with the idea that Saru has gone off to bang someone who can't legally consent? Star Trek Discovery equals TV for sick creeps. Shove it, CBS. Do you think he's in love with Sukal?
Well, since his name is Suck All, Saru feels like he is included in that group, in that Venn diagram of suck. He has a good chance of scoring. So, he'll make his ganglia extend and,
sick.
It's like when a boy and ganglia love each other very much.
Oh my God. I didn't even see it like that. No, you're right. Oh, whoa. Doug Jones, quit the show, dude. It's going to hurt your career. Sonequa Martin Green's career is over, dude. Jodie Whittaker's career, over. Yep. And I keep on hearing these people saying she's a good actress. You know what? She's a decent actress. She's an okay adult pretender, but she was given the opportunity of a lifetime and she wasted it. And people are trying to blame the BBC. Certainly the BBC is to blame. Chris Chibnall is to blame. And Jodie Whittaker is to blame. She didn't do the work. She blew people off. She wouldn't go to cons. She knew she had to work twice as hard. And as a real feminist, you think she would have done that, but she's not a real feminist. She's a fucking fake NPC adult pretender who gets her information downloaded from on high, and then she repeats shit like over and over again. I mentioned it in a couple live streams. I mentioned it over and over again. She got off the bat by saying Doctor Who is a practice in the male fucking gaze. And then she repeated it over and over again in interviews over the next 2 years. She kept on saying the same thing, that Doctor Who was just made for one specific audience, and that audience got old. How dare you say that about the audience of Doctor who isn't just a bunch of white dudes, which shows she put no fucking effort into it at all. And even if it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, just a bunch of white dudes, they're the reason it was fucking popular. And if you actually had respect and cared about the show and knew what you were fucking talking about, you just disrespected the message of this entire show. You know why I liked Doctor Who as a role model for boys and for men? He was non-violent. Sure, he did some violent shit. He did some fucked up shit, but he tried to think. The whole theme of Doctor Who to an American is use your fucking wits first.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I want my kids learning through a fun science fiction TV show that we can enjoy together. And that got pissed away. And this show had done something remarkable up until 2013. I was thinking back because somebody was asking, do you think Doctor Who can have its Luke Skywalker moment? Well, it did already. That scene in the 50th anniversary with Tom Baker, I watched it again today, and that thing gets me every fucking time. Every time where he's sitting there and he's the curator, and Matt Smith is sitting there talking to Tom Baker, who is a version of the Doctor who revisited some of the old faces, and he talked about what his next mission was supposed to be. and it was supposed to be Gallifrey Falls no more. You're supposed to go find Gallifrey, and it was full of hope. And I'm like, God damn it. It looked like we were going to be on such a great ride. And then it just didn't happen. But that was their moment. Doctor Who had captured a young audience, an old audience, an adolescent audience. It was fucking huge. And they pissed it all away with their identity politics. They thought they knew better than the audience.
Yep.
And that's where the companies need to stop. You don't know better than the audience. Stop treating the audience like a bunch of idiots. They're not. They're smarter than you. They're much fucking smarter than you. And they know more about Doctor Who than you. They know about Star Trek than you, and they know about Star Wars than you. When you have fucktards like Pablo Hidalgo attacking any fan, not just Star Wars Theory, any fan. And what I said on the stream today, I will repeat here. Star Wars Theory is a lore channel. He is a commercial for Star Wars. And even channels like yours and mine, Doomcock, which are critical of Star Wars, we still make fans. I used to make fans every day at the comic store, turning people on to shit. When you turn people on to shit, like The Expanse or other shows, or I do it, we're making fans. That's what fans do. We make each other. That's it. The companies don't have anything. Just make your shit. Try not to make it offensive. Try to be good, and try not to attack the fans on social media. That would be my first. Try that for 365 days. Just don't say anything. If you can't say something positive, don't say anything at all. Just don't you can say something under your breath to yourself, to your friend, but don't go on Twitter and call somebody a Nazi or an asshole or anybody, even if they come at you, because you're supposed to be the professional, and you are, by the way, an employee, and you are just a custodian. You just have this brand for a little while before you either completely trash it or move it to somebody else. Try it. It will be a new era. I want this to be the year of the fan, and you don't, it's going to take a long time, because there's a lot of people, a lot of these creatives don't like us. They just flat out don't like us.
Well, we don't like them.
Nope.
We don't like them.
Feeling is mutual.
Yeah.
And, Gina Carano doing something as simple as interacting with fans positively, which she doesn't have to do, right? She does it once in a while. She has a little fun on Twitter, and it's endeared her to probably millions of fans now. And it's a simple act. She's not rocket science what she's doing. Zack Snyder's doing the same with his movement. And you know what? Other creatives are going to recognize that, and they're going to start doing it too. Because that's where things have already started to flip. We got a lot of work to do over here. Okay. There's the woke police are still out there. They are still going to destroy Doctor Who and Star Trek, and I don't think they're going to make it. Maybe Star Wars can turn shit around. We'll see. I guess there's factions. I do understand that Kathleen Kennedy's name is on everything, but that doesn't mean she's in charge of everything.
Well, no. And I can tell you, Gary, that this last week, late in the week, I got the most specific, detailed breakdown of what is going on over at Lucasfilm with Star Wars. And I can tell you that this next week, I'm going to release a video that is going to really open a lot of eyes. This is I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And it's Jesus, very, very specific. I think it came from someone that really wants to get this out. So I'm looking forward to that. But I can tell you, good things are happening at Lucasfilm. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. I think I'm sworn to secrecy, so I can't say anything. I wish I could, but I can't. Let's just say that the High Republic, and I got to give credit to Ryan on this one, because he brought it up. The High Republic was supposed to come out a few months ago, and it came out now. And his summation was they were trying to ride the popularity of The Mandalorian. I completely agree with that summation. And it's destined to fail. They tried to run with some shit that it got 200,000 or 100,000 orders. That's orders through bookstores and comic stores. They're not going to sell that much. It'll be a fraction of that. And within 2 weeks, the sales will be in the 20,000s. We're talking about comic books and books here. Nobody cares about this fucking thing anyway. I think they're just going through with it because they put a bunch of money into it, but it's still officially lore. Okay. So we have to keep that in mind. This is still officially lore. Jake Skywalker still exists. None of this shit has been taken care of yet. And I don't think Disney is going to do anything because they don't need to do anything. I said that in my Luke Skywalker video. They won so much goodwill. Now they almost got that got fucked when Pablo Hidalgo did what he did. I have a feeling we won't be hearing from him again.
Well, I wanted to know, like on his profile, he was talking about happily retired. So was he out of Lucasfilm when he tweeted this shit, or is he still there? What is going on where in the world is Pablo Hidalgo?
I think that meant happily retired from trolling people on the internet. That's what I think.
Tough shit. Well, he may be in deep shit then, because he cannot be happy.
Here's public knowledge. I've had some very interesting conversations. I don't have insiders like you, but I've had conversations over the last 2 weeks. And again, I'm sorry, folks. I can't say shit. I promised somebody I wouldn't say shit. I'm not going to say shit. But what is known publicly, if you guys didn't watch the live streams on Drunk 3PO's channel, is after Theory was attacked, he was contacted by Disney, and Disney offered an apology, and they wanted to hook him up with Pablo Hidalgo, give him his digits and stuff, but they wanted him to initiate contact. Now, if I was Theory, I would have done the same thing he did, which was, nope, no thanks. I have no desire to talk to you. And I think that's good because that keeps him free to do whatever he wants with his channel, with his brand. And it keeps Disney guessing. They can't just get out of this with an apology. And I think maybe what was behind that is Theory was thinking about all the other people Disney owes apologies to. Now, I can't get into, I'll ask Star Wars Theory about that if I ever talk to him again. But because they owe the entire fandom an apology.
Oh, Christ, yes.
Entire fandom. And until we get that, I'm not budging. I'm just not. That's owed. And we need to hear it from Kathleen Kennedy, not from Jon Favreau. Okay. Jon Favreau doesn't need to apologize to anybody.
No, he did nothing wrong.
Nope. And you know what? I'll even go as far as Dave Filoni doesn't need to apologize to anybody. Kathleen Kennedy, Pablo Hidalgo, that dumb freaking moron who was drinking the male tears. They need to apologize. They all need to apologize to the fans, or quit.
And then get the fuck out.
And then get the fuck
and then get the fuck out. I mean, apologies no good if they keep then causing the fanboy tears, mocking the fans, and injecting their goddamn intersectional feminism into everything that they're doing. An apology, you have to also apologize and repent. And repentance means getting the fuck out.
Yeah, because you don't belong there. I mean, you just flat out don't belong there. That's not anything. You obviously don't like Star Wars. If you're that way towards Star Wars fans and their feelings over a specific thing in Star Wars, you're not a fan of Star Wars anymore. Pablo Hidalgo works there, and he loves having Lucasfilm on his name badge and on his bios and talking about it with his friends. It's probably where he gets his entire identity is through a corporation, being a cog in a corporation. How sad is that? But he doesn't like Star Wars anymore. It's just a job to him. Yeah. He's way past it. Treating people like that. And he, he's not a smart person. Smart people don't say that out loud. Smart people don't do the things he is. He's an insecure idiot. And I wouldn't want that kind of person in my organization because they would just that you're only as strong as your weakest link. And man, you got some fucking weak ass links at Lucasfilm. Unfortunately, the head of your department, Kathleen Kennedy, is the weakest. So fuck that shit. Yeah, they should quit. They should apologize and quit.
I agree.
I love Cobra Kai, but if season 3 didn't jump the shark, it definitely landed on it. Either way, I'm still all in. Hail Johnny and Daniel, says Scott Hudson for $5. Well, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen enough to say anything on it. I've actually reviewed it on this channel. If you dig real deep, there is a Cobra Kai review on this channel for season 1. I caught it when it first came out, and I fucking loved it. And I knew it was based on a YouTube video, which was, what if Johnny was the good guy and Daniel's actually the bad guy in Cobra Kai. I don't know what the title is, but that's what it was based on. That's what they got the fucking idea. And it was brilliant. And it's brilliant what they've done. But they've made the same mistake that they've all made. And they've dumped it all at once. They dumped it all at once.
Right.
Stupid.
It is. And, I guess I shouldn't look, I enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed the 3rd season. I think certain things get a little redundant at times and a little absurd. And in particular, I felt like, it'll be interesting to see if you agree with me or not, but it felt like the first 4 out of the 10 episodes, it kind of lost a lot of the sense of fun that, made Cobra Kai so absolutely awesome. I mean, so many people are down and miserable and, and I mean, it's not like, I'm not trying to say that it was relentlessly dark or gloomy, but I'm saying that it really just wasn't a whole lot of fun, except in little spots. There's a little bit of fun in every episode. There's no doubt about it. But episode 5, it really started to pick up, and it felt like the old Cobra Kai again. And I felt like for the rest of that season, there was a lot of fun stuff in it. So ultimately, I felt like it was worth watching. I thought it was fun. Was it perfect? No, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. I enjoyed it.
Season 1 was damn near perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
Season 2 was not.
No.
So we'll see. I still enjoyed it, but season 2 I felt was a little flawed, but we'll see. We'll see. And that my delay is I had to watch season 2 before I watched season 3 because it's been so long. And I don't binge shit. I just don't. I mean, I'll binge half a season, but I don't do it in one day. I can't retain any of that stuff if I'm going to talk about it. I need to, it's my ADHD or whatever the fuck they want to call it. I don't take anything for it. And I don't know. Depends on the person. I don't think you need to take anything for it, to be honest with you. I think it's just part of the human condition, but that's just me. And sometimes I got to read books twice and watch things twice just to get it. That's fine. That's part of my life. But we'll find out. Woke Troll, thank you for joining the proto molecule level. I appreciate you. Thank you. The old man for $5. Hail, Gary, and well met, sir. Glad I gave Raised by Wolves a view. Really not bad. Yeah, I'm sure it's another Westworld, but at least the first season's good. Is it woke? And I mean, not would I think it's woke? That's the question I have with Raised by Wolves, because I do not want to go through another Westworld, which I still own the first season, and I would watch the first season again. I would. I just don't. I just pretend nothing happens after that. It's so fucking horrific what happens to that show. But the Westworld is the line of demarcation. I don't know. That's where Hollywood changed. And it's most evident. It's like when you're looking at, if you're a geologist and you're looking at, the side of a riverbank and you're looking at the layers and you can see where a cataclysm happened. So Westworld was before the woke cataclysm of Hollywood, which is a big line that you can see. And then after that, it's a new age of Hollywood of death and destruction. And,
that's exactly right. I mean, in the strata below that line, you get basalt and granite and stuff like that, and then you've got the line, and then above the line it's soy. There's soy. It's soy. It's raining soy at Hollywood, and that was it. Soy and pronouns. You get
soy. A meteor full of soy and pronouns came down and destroyed it all.
Pretty much it. Yeah. Turned out the dog's gay.
why Jack Beers for $5, the great Jack Beers, who has been documenting Star Trek Discovery on Twitter almost daily. Why would Saru trust Burnham to be his number one? She was disrespectful to him in the first episode, and she still failed to follow orders. Hashtag release Harvey. Yeah, it's he wouldn't. And that whole thing they went through punishing her in season, it was just a farce. Because remember, the Admiral finally came around to thinking that you were right all along. He actually gives her a story saying you were right all along.
Yes. And she just beams and nods, and well, when you're right, she says.
Yep. The hero's journey.
The hero's journey, starting at the top and ending up there.
Yep. It's a straight line that says you were right all along.
Yep.
Hail Nerdrotic and Doomcock. Is Kathy Lee Crosby's Wonder Woman better than Wonder Woman 1984? Sam Whiskey for $4.99. Kathy Lee Crosby's Wonder Woman was when?
Way back. And I think she actually had that other chick as her like sidekick in it. I'm seeing like a orange and yellow outfit for Kathy. Yeah, her Wonder Woman. And God, that woman was also like her sidekick in there. Or no, I'm thinking Wonder Dinah Girl, and never mind. I think I'm confused. I'm thinking of that. What is it? Dinah Woman and Gyna Girl or something?
I think it's a gynecological girl. That's
Gyna
the way. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, here is Kathy Lee Crosby's one. I haven't thought about that in years, dude.
Yeah. I'm getting it wrong with the other. Yeah. Now it's going to bug me until I remember what that actual show I'm thinking of is.
Yes, there was another Wonder Woman show, if you don't know, played by a blonde woman.
Yes.
And it's horrible. I mean, like Linda, fucking the other Wonder Woman's great. But yeah, it was 1974. I was very young when that came out, so I'm not surprised I don't remember any of it because I was 4. That was a long time ago, man. 74. Woo.
I've never seen it, I don't think.
I just watched a little bit of it right there, and I don't ever want to watch it.
Like I've never seen the Captain America where he basically rides a bike.
Oh, I've seen, yeah. Reb Brown. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen that one either.
It's terrible 70s, but it's cool because at least he's got his shield,
Yeah.
It's not, and he looks like Captain America. He does. Reb Brown. Carrion Witch in Residence for 5 Canadian pesos. Can't stay long, but just tonight. Just glad while I'm in class, you guys are fighting the good fight. Oh, thanks. You're in class tonight?
Hail Corayon Witch in Residence, man. Hail to you.
Well, I guess witches have classes at night. So
I think so. Also, I've heard a rumor that we are going to do Exozone this week.
So I heard the rumor too.
I think we're going to do Exozone, and it's going to be on Harvey's channel. And I don't know. Maybe I might even put it on my channel. I don't know. We'll see. But I've got a hell of a story, a first-hand account by one of our own audience that was absolutely astonishing. And I'm not going to reveal who this individual is, but I trust them utterly. I do not believe that this person would lie. This is going to be a hell of a story, Gary. You're going to really like this. And also, we've got a really weird story about organic robots.
The Oumuamua news. Did you hear that?
Oh no!
The scientist who the Harvard physicist,
right,
who said it was alien contact, wrote a book, and he tripled down and said that was effing aliens. That was officially our first alien contact.
Damn.
And
read that book.
In that horrific COVID bill that was just passed, which is horrific. The government has 180 days to disclose any UFO information they have.
That is right. I believe that was Marco Rubio.
Yep.
Introduced that as a little slip that in. It passed as part of that package. They do that kind of shit from time to time. It rarely benefits us, but this time it's putting the government on notice. And I'm excited about that. I got to find out about that Oumuamua book, man. Got to read that.
Yeah, it's a New York Post article. I can forward it to you.
Hell yeah.
Orville Nation, hail. Oh wait, Sam Whiskey was up there first. I gotta say, Sam Whiskey. No, you okay? I got that one. Orville Nation for $5. Happy New Year to my favorite dynamic duo. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, PJ. Love you, man.
Hail
You were
Pete.
going to get in touch with me about something, PJ. You never did. Drop me a line.
Sam Whiskey for $4.99. Have you noticed the similarities between the Submariner and Spock? Oh yeah, definitely. They both have pointy ears and are half human. Yes. And you can actually take their heads and you can make a Mego Submariner out of a Spock.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Most.
Oh
definitely.
yeah, man. Those Megos were great, and I've always loved the Submariner. I'm
always one of my as a villain. His villain costume is the fucking best. The black.
You mean I believe it was in God damn it was either in 71 or 77. Number is either number 71 or 77 where he got damaged, and so Reed Richards of all people built him this black outfit with the yellow serrated fins under the arms, kind of like Spider-Man's webbing, which was to rebreathe water for him because he lost the ability natively to breathe underwater, as I recall. Is that correct?
Called correctly, and that's where he started going into supervillain team up, which was fantastic. Where he teamed up with Doctor Doom and went on a little.
Yeah, that's gratitude. That's gratitude.
That's
Reed Richards built you a fucking after all the times you've tried to what?
Bone Susan. That's all he wants to do is bone Susan.
I know. After all the times he's been chasing the invisible girl to get a little bit of invisible nookie, and Reed Richards, mans up and builds him. And what does he do? Does he say, I'm grateful? No, he goes off and fucks off and teams up with supervillains and becomes more of a dick.
Oh, his arch villain. Yeah, his arch villain he teams up with him.
It's a dick.
What a dick move. But he's a great fucking weird superhero. So I love the Submariner. And Star Trek Discovery, it's nice to know you can commit mutiny and millions of your fellow citizens and in the end become captain of a starship without training. The Killington for $10. Yep. That's Star Trek. It's fucking ridiculous.
And Tilly, who is an ensign, can wind up a captain. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's it.
Yeah.
Krusty Magoo is a member at the Jaloja level. Thank you. Welcome. We'll get a member stream. I think I scheduled it for later this week. I couldn't do it today. I just ran out of time on everything today. Nerd Cookies for $2. Such an amazing, beautiful charity stream. Thank you. Thank you. It was something else, man. It was something else. I'm sorry, my lady. Nerd Cookies. It was cool. Sam Whiskey for $4.99. When Jan and Jace used to communicate, use the communication badge, that was cool. When Picard used the communication badge, that's not cool. Nothing is cool about this shite. Sam Whiskey. Oh God, I just fucking hate it so much now.
Oh yeah, it's painful, man. And also, why do the transporter badges that these people have? Why don't they have to enter coordinates for it? Why do they just touch the badge and magically transport exactly to where they need to go?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it has an invisible wire or a little very thin wire that runs down and between their legs and up their ass and through their intestines and stomach and attaches to their throat where they just basically subvocalize it.
Up their ass. That's where it is. It's an ass reading transporter device. It knows where their ass wants to be. Super Mastermind for $50. These two jerks have inspired me to revive an old invention. Thanks. I'll show up that silly Santa book with a superhero horror item that will piss off more people than you do, nerdy ones. And please, so many more, says Super Mastermind. Well, I hope you do. By all means, try to piss people off. It might work. You never know. But hey, I've been thanks for the $50. I am working on a book that is going to be a sequel to Santa's husband called Santa's ex-husband, and we'll see how things turn out. It's supposed to be a plucky little Christmas story. Polaris sucks for 2 Canadian pesos. Hail, do you think the rumor is true about the STD being canceled? Okay, Polaris sucks. That is speculation by our good friend Az at Heel versus Babyface. And I think he might be onto something, but it's not a rumor. It's speculation. You got to make that distinction. So as speculated that because Star Trek Discovery had stopped filming, right? In November. And then their name was, so there's that thing in, the name of it. It's the Directors Guild or something in Canada will show you what's in production. If you go look and find it, it tells you in production. And supposedly Star Trek Discovery has been removed from that.
Right. Indefinitely turned back. And there was also a lot of speculation that what was called Star Trek Discovery Season 4 was actually just reshoots to try and salvage the horrendous Season 3 that we just saw. And seeing this shit for myself, I believe it. It's sad that this was the best they could do even after reshoots, but that's par for the course for Kurtzman and his Keystone crappity comedy writers.
So the best thing to do is follow the stars on Instagram and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
They'll tell you. I mean, you'll be able to see if they're in Canada right now, then they're filming. If they're not, then they're not. Now I heard one rumor, again, this is just a rumor or speculation, that they just changed the title of the show to hide the production. They do that sometimes. But I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know why they would keep it secret if they canceled. If they really just canceled the fucking show, just cancel the fucking show. What's the big secret? Why do we need to be secret about this? Because you're trying to preserve Season 3?
Yeah.
Who's going to watch Season 3?
No, absolutely not, dude. It's horrible. It's just horrible. Oh, and I want to thank Charles Hemphill, who sent me an email just now saying it was Deidre Hall as Electro Woman and another woman as Dinah Girl. So that's exactly what I was thinking. Electro Woman and Dinah Girl. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that, brother.
Deidre Hall is not a name I have heard in a long, long time. Dude.
I know. She was pretty hot, though.
Well, that's how I remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we haven't heard much as far as production goes. They could have been shut down because of the COOF. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know if they're shooting. I haven't bothered to look. I just assumed we were going to get a 4th season. It'll probably be shorter. It'll probably cancel it. And I don't know what they're going to do, dude. They don't have any money left. It was sad how like they were stretching the dollar out towards the end. It was so obvious in this. The Physicality channel says Doom is loud. It sounds just fine to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do I sound okay to you, Gary?
Sound fine to me. Hang on.
Huh. Yeah. Testing. Hello. Am I loud?
Well, you're going through streaming. They balance their own audio. I don't have to do any of that stuff.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
That was a while ago. More people would have said something.
I am a super villain, so I do have an oversized ego that translates to an oversized voice and oversized underwear, but never mind.
Hey.
Hey-o.
There we go. Thank you for the phallic unicorn, Darius Darius Munchausen.
See.
There you go. I knew that name. I love that movie.
It is a great movie.
I fucking love that movie.
Jonathan Pryce was great in that. It's scary.
Samurai, gotta love how Mikey turned the tables on Osira. Yeah. How did she turn the tables on Osira again? Oh,
it was stupid. I don't know what the fuck. What was that? She gets sucked into the wall of little squares and disappears in the wall, but suddenly she's not in the wall anymore and kicks her ass. She's Mikey Spock. What happened there? It just was like a torrent of bullshit. It was like, okay, I don't know what happened.
I think It was torn of bullshit. I give you that.
She just was like, no, wait a minute. I'm not going to die in this wall. I'm the bestest ever. And then she like kicks her ass and okay, then just dies or whatever happened to Osama. I don't know. God.
Shot her in the head. Like, I mean, they spent this time making this. I mean, she was almost complex for a minute when she said, listen, I'm willing to, like I'm giving up capital and I'm trying to do this thing. And, she's got this sidekick who really adores her, which felt like it should have been that thing whole was that was squashed there. It felt like there was more episodes. Okay. They brought in a character who's legit in a wheelchair. This guy's legit in a wheelchair who's floating around and they only did it to check a box. You can tell they only did it to check it. And they couldn't make him evil. So they introduce him as I'm going to come in and cut little Stamets into little pieces. That's what they sound like. And then he turned out to be, he was just kind of a nice guy.
Yeah. He talked a good game. When he has a few under his belt, he gets a little bit grandiloquent. Don't take him serious. He's a sweetheart.
It's like when Tot comes in and it just turns out to be just a hanger, except they really go through with the gag, which was, I think talk about Mr. Jones.
Oh yes.
Jones. Yeah. Oh, that was such a great scene when he fucking,
it was hilarious.
Hangs up his coat.
Now, Fräulein Ravenwood, what shall we talk about?
Let me show you what I used to.
We can be reasonable. That time has passed.
Oh, that guy is so good as Tot. Turbo lift TARDIS space has infinite air. Punch hole to infinite air if suffocating next time, noobs. Michael Varney for $5. Yeah, that was my favorite part, was the people who were running out of oxygen telling anecdotal stories and yakking away while they're running out of oxygen.
Yeah. That was really special.
Victoria Gooner for 10 Canadian pesos. Gary, DC, did you see the new Nerdist article from Talia Franks stating Doctor Who continues to inflict violence against Black characters? Doctor Who is dead. Franks only watched last 2 series. I did.
Oh, the poor Black character had the violence inflicted on them of falling off the bike repeatedly. That was a gruesome scene. Oh my gosh, I was just appalled. I have not seen such brutality since graphic depictions of outright torture in Uncle Tom's Cabin. It's really, it was shocking.
So a writer from an article, a site called The Nerdist,
right?
Nerdist, which is supposed to be the place to go if you're a nerd, said that Doctor Who commits violence against Black characters, and she only watched the last 2 seasons. She didn't watch anything before that because these are political hacktivists. Mm-hmm. These aren't nerds. These are posers who have come into our places and spread fucking poison.
Right.
And it's shit pieces of crap, shill, garbage, corporate sites like the Nerdist that have fostered a lot of this. Access Media has the most to blame. I have always said that in the past. I will say it in the future. The corporations will let them do their bidding, but the Access Media is the ones who spread the poison, who spread the bullshit, who made up the term toxic fandom, which needs to be fucking retired. And thankfully, people like Talia Franks won't be around very long because I'm pretty sure she was paid $15 for that article.
Yeah, that's right. And it's sad. The Nerdist used to be a decent organization. Chris Hardwick used to be cool, used to be funny. I used to love to watch his Web Soup. I thought that was a really funny show. His mixed nut sampler that had all the videos of guys taking nut shots was like poetry in motion, to quote Thomas Dolby in She Blinded Me with Science. I mean, that was a thing of joy. But he started doing his little after shows, shilling for The Walking Dead, shilling for Preacher, shilling for anything that they would throw at him. And, Chris Hardwick, I don't know, man. I just don't think he has any geek cred left. The guy, genuine talent. I'm sorry that he went that way. He became basically the Wesley Crusher for Walking Dead.
Yep.
That's just not a good look. Where you're just hell bent on being positive and corporate for every piece of crap that they float down the tube, making The Walking Dead, making any show. You cannot have your credibility, your self-respect, if you're constantly going to be praising shit for corporations. I never saw him say, he never saw an episode of The Walking Dead he didn't absolutely suck its dick.
Yeah. And I mean, who wants to see that stuff? That's why, that's why when you start reviewing television, that's what people want to see, is like an honest opinion, not just like, oh, isn't that was so awesome and that was awesome. Not everything can't be awesome all the time. It just can't.
No, it can't. And even when I like a show, even when I like, say, the last season of Mandalorian, well, there were some episodes that I frankly thought had some serious problems. And, what do you want me to become, the Chris Hardwick of Mandalorian, just because I'm trying to be positive and I'm trying to look at it in a good light? I'm not going to say every fucking thing about it is perfect. It's not. It's a damn sight far away from that. But then I get jumped on for being negative by fans, because people get butthurt when something that they really loved, and you're pointing out something not in an insulting way, but in a reasonable, analytical way. And we really need to stop that, because I don't condemn fans who disagree with me. I say, well, I saw it this way, but and to then attack because I didn't 100% like something. What's the alternative? That I become Chris Hardwick? I don't want to do that. I never will do that. I'm going to always tell the truth as I see it. And sometimes, and I have very high standards. I admit it. I have very high standards, and I'm easily bored. I am easily taken out of something because I can smell bullshit a mile away. And something doesn't ring true to me, something stupid. I'm going to point it out. I'm going to be honest.
That's all we want ever from you and from anybody else. And it's really easy to do. To be honest, it's so incredibly freeing. And even if this is just a hobby for you, or you're just like, that's the best part. We don't have to like suck the corporate dick that
Right.
Will Wheaton has to do every time he has to do an after Star Trek show. I mean, he's not even good at that. It is so cringe watching those after Trek shows with his like fake, I don't know, grin. That looks like if the grin comes off his face, they'll shock him or something. It's weird. Hi, I'm Will Wheaton, and he's like blinking because you know what the fuck he's doing. I don't know what he's doing.
You should look at those blinks and try to decode them. Maybe it's Morse code for help. I'm being held prisoner in a Chinese laundry or something.
Maybe.
I don't know, man. Get a feeling. It's like a hostage video.
It's fucking sad. And it's, these were considered the geek icons. I mean, Kevin Smith sold out a long time ago. I know still like him, but he's a total fucking sellout. He was supposed to be like the man of the fan, right? And
right.
Nah, he's all his show is talking to Mark Bernardin, who seems like a nice enough guy. But it's just talking about inside Hollywood shit all the time. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that. You know what? I don't need to kiss any creator's ass. I don't need to be a creator or fucking creative or actor or like they've hit me up. And I know I would rather talk to Doomcock. I'd rather talk to Mexican Iron Man. I'd rather talk to anybody except for them. I'll watch their art. I'll enjoy their art. I really don't want to know anything about them because it does affect how I see it sometimes. I think the smartest actor would never give an interview ever. Mm-hmm. And for one, it would give you an air of mystery, especially if you were talented. Somebody out there is like, no, I speak through my roles. And the more people get to know me, the less they'll see, the more they'll see me and not my role,
Yeah, right. You talk about, that a lot of creatives don't like us, and you said, and I said, I don't like a lot of creatives, and I've thought about that while we've been talking, and actually that's not true. In actual fact, I hate the people that aren't creative but are pretending to be.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot think of a single creative person that I have anything but respect for and affection for. I really can't. I can't think, you got like Kurtzman, chin balls, I don't have any respect for them whatsoever. Kennedy, Jar Jar Abrams, they are not really creative.
Nope.
But people who are genuinely artists, even if I, disagree with them personally or whatever, I don't say bad things about them. I separate the art from the artist, first of all. I always do that. And I genuinely hate bullshit. I hate people that suck at their job and get paid well for it. I hate people that pontificate from a position of mental weakness. I hate people that suck, and yet the mainstream media pretends they don't.
And they carry the lie. They carry on the farce. And I think, well, primarily what we do is try to break the narrative, cut through the bullshit. And eventually, it gets exposed. They can't control it forever. Kathleen Kennedy had to be so pissed at the Return of Luke Skywalker scene. That had to piss her off. And people could say, well, she was part of it. She brought in Jon Favreau. Sure. Yes. She was instrumental in bringing in Jon Favreau, and Jon Favreau practically took her fucking job.
Yeah,
he did. He practically took her fucking job. Disney's listening to Jon Favreau more than they're listening to Kathleen Kennedy.
Yep.
Because of you guys, because he got your response more than she ever did.
That's right. And Feige's on his way. So
yep. Here comes Feige.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. What are a bunch of SJWs going to do? Gosh, it's starting to look like a boys club or something. Oh dear.
Yep. He went on a Star Wars show and said, I am a bigger Star Wars fan than I was a Marvel fan.
Yes, indeed.
I would worry about that if I was her. Anyone know what happened to the Ferengi? Were they all wiped out in the Me Too wars? Says T down under for $5 Australian. They couldn't afford the makeup anymore. What happened to the Klingons? They were such an instrumental part of this series, and they didn't bring back L'Oreal, or because she's in the past. But there was a reason they shot Discovery into the future. It was to save money and supposedly to be more free from canon, but they ended up destroying more of it, just like we thought they would. And that's not even the problem anymore. Whatever. You've destroyed it so much, nobody takes your show seriously. They don't count it as Star Trek. Trenna is pronounced like Trend Guthridge for $5. All the plot holes would be fine if the characters were good. Well-written characters absolve a lot of sins. Yes. I've said that a lot in the past. I'm sure there's a lot of plot holes in Buffy and Angel. I don't care. I like the characters. I just don't care. There's some inconsistencies in The Expanse that have been pointed out this season. I don't care. I like the characters. It's a damn good show. Even with this last week's, which was kind of slow, but out of comparatively, but it was still fucking genius compared to anything anybody's ever done. It was very Amos-centric, so Mrs. Nerdrotic was very happy with it. Stetson's Gold for $2. I know it's so toxic female of her, by the way. Stetson's Gold for £2. The world needs heroes right now, not garbage. Yep. The world needs inspiration. The world needs heroes. I've said this before. The reason Spider-Man by Sam Raimi was such a monster hit was because it was one of the most well-timed films in history. Right after 9/11, the country was down. They needed inspiration, and it gave them a hero, a straight-up hero. And that movie wasn't reinventing the wheel. It wasn't the greatest cinema ever presented. It was just a $400 million domestic massive hit because people like Spider-Man and people wanted a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Horton for £5. Hail, Gary and DC. These woke wankers are now going after Cobra Kai. Yes, they are, because they're calling it too white, because it was based on 2 original characters who were white. It's okay to cast white people in shit. And
yeah, but they don't feel that way. They don't feel that way at all.
Oh, no, they're bigots. These are bigots.
They are
racists, who do not like white people. Who are saying,
yeah, they really don't. They blame white people for all the evils in the world, and they look at white people and don't see individuals anymore. They see a group, and it's a group that deserves censure and mockery and exclusion. And this is not social justice; it's revenge.
Yep. It is revenge. This isn't about egalitarian. This isn't about making things better. These are people who want to divide and want to destroy our system. A system, I'll tell you right now, if you go out and destroy the system, you're not going to get to enjoy any benefits from any new system that comes in. Your children aren't going to get to enjoy it. Their grandchildren are not going to get to enjoy it. So enjoy it, motherfucker. You go out there and you rip shit down, you're going to live in ashes. But right now we have a system that allows people to rise up, and mostly they can help themselves. Helping yourself is hard, though. It's fucking hard work. I know, I've done it. It's really fucking hard work, but it's rewarding as hell. But there's people who want something for nothing, and they're going to get something for nothing, but not what they paid for. But I am not a black pillar, so I think that these are growing pains that we need to go through, and it isn't great right now, and it might not be for a couple, 3 years, but that's better than a lifetime. So it's better to just try to do things within what's left of our system and try to rebuild it. Darius Munchausen for $2. Mikey Spock's mother is the bestest mom ever, and her name is Gabriel.
Gosh. Calling all angels right now. Yeah, great.
Phantom Boomer for $5. So happy that I don't have to watch all this crap thanks to you guys. You're welcome. I am happy to watch it for you. I get to vent about it, but fuck, is this season was the worst.
It was really worst. God.
Laughing Carew for $4.99. Oh, I heard about this. So Matt Jarbo made a crap video on you guys again on his channel. Recommended it for Friday Night Tights, especially with Gundam. Yeah, it's not worth it. It would have been fun to roast with Gundam. Anything's fun to roast with Gundam, but I have a policy that I do not go after other YouTubers. I will certainly respond if somebody comes after me, but that would be like severely punching down if I went after Jarbo. It wouldn't be, and he knows that, his channel's got, it's a lot of subs, but he doesn't get a ton of traction. And I will respond with this. And Doomcock, you can respond, or you don't have to respond at all. Because he goes after my friends in that too. And that's the thing I take issue with. He can go after me. I'm not above criticism. But I would say this, I would offer Matt some unsolicited advice. He's been trying to get his entertainment channel going because his other channel flamed out. His political channel flamed out due to his actions on the internet that I'm sure you're all aware of, and I won't repeat here. And I would say, just like Disney, try to go 365 days without going after an individual fan. Which is what Doomcock just said is something we do not do. I do not make videos about people who like Star Trek Discovery or like Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker, or like The Last Jedi. It's not my interest to go after fans. I'm going after the corporations that are the custodians of these franchises that have used them for platforms to divide fans, to attack individuals and attack our modern mythology, and basically they bought Star Wars to make it something completely different. They didn't want to put in the work to make a new franchise, so they bought an established one so they can get some of the established fans and make their own thing anyway. And if they alienate some of the fans, that's fine, because they still have some built-in fans, so they can make it a revenue stream. And that, there's people like Matt Jarbo who just like anything, who is served up to them. They're called a consumer. I'm not a consumer. You're not a consumer in the chat. Doomcock is not a consumer. So what I would say with Matt is try not to go after individual people. Kind of, why, if you like these things, why don't you convince people why you like these things?
Right.
What your channel should be based on is your connection with your audience, and my audience, and what I do, which is our audience, is completely different, and it has nothing to do with what you're doing on your channel. So I don't know why he consistently brings me and Doomcock up. We never ever talk about him unless we're directly asked, and I am not attacking him. I will not attack him. It's not worth my time. I have better things to do than think about an Uber Eats driver who makes some videos on the side.
Right. Yeah. I just don't care. I just don't care. I think that these people make these videos in order to get a response, which then essentially is free advertising for them.
Yep.
Since my channel is so much bigger, if I respond to something that they say, then it raises traffic and it becomes a thing. I simply ignore them. I ignore all of the, unless it's like somebody like Vanity Fair or Esquire, then they will get my attention. But, like a smaller channel or something, it's like, no, I'm not going to spread your lies, and I'm not going to enable you to get a bigger audience on my back. So I completely ignore these people. I just don't care. Yeah.
He's not the only one who's done videos, and
right. It happens all the time. I don't
appreciate care. Like anybody who has our back, I do appreciate that. But like, honestly, I don't do drama. I don't like the drama.
Right.
And it's you're right. It's not good for sanity. It's like that Twitter shit that we don't get involved in either. It's not worth it. I only have so much energy, and I need to put it on this platform, and I'll save it for here, and I save it for giant corporations or censorship or something like that. That's worth my time. That's a higher calling, and this little petty shit, honestly, it stunts your growth. It's poison. Envy is poison. It is. It's like resentment. It's like taking poison and expecting somebody else to get sick. I would highly recommend that Matt just focus on pop culture. Just focus on pop culture. What you like, what you don't like. Try not to bring up another channel for a calendar year. See if you can do it. I challenge him to do that. Don't bring up anybody. Just talk about pop culture. And I guarantee you his channel will probably start turning around if he hasn't, dug a hole too deep, which he might have done already. You never know. But
yeah. I went ahead and sent out a tweet, not specifically about him. It was just a general tweet, but this is what I said. I said, funny how many loser channels accuse me of monetizing hate and then turn around and do their best to monetize their hatred of me. It never works. Their subs remain in the toilet because anyone that watches me knows I fight to save pop culture out of love. And that's the bottom line. And then as an attachment to that tweet, I tweeted out my what Star Trek Day means to me, and talked about my love of Star Trek. I talked about my love of The Expanse. I talked about my love of that last episode of The Mandalorian. I gave Mandalorian season 1 a fairly good review. I actually enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm actively looking for things to love. They're just hard to find these days.
Well, yeah, because this is the worst era of Hollywood ever. And that line we talked about, that line in the Strata was 2016, and it hasn't gotten any better. But now that Hollywood is facing like doom, real doom, like real, it's over. Like there are articles being written in the Hollywood Reporter that Hollywood might be decentralized. And that is something I fucking called a long time ago. People don't need to be in Hollywood to make shit anymore. And you're going to start seeing entertainment more spread out. Hollywood was not going to be the big mamma jamma anymore. Disney is not a big company compared to Netflix and Amazon. It's a very small company compared to them. The gaming industry dwarfs the entertainment industry. So they're in serious fucking trouble right now. And they know it. And there's going to be a lot of people without jobs very, very soon. And that's not something I'm happy to report. I don't want that. That's not what I want. I don't want people having to restart their lives who have spent their whole life to get into entertainment because they loved it. And then it got ruined because some executives who don't give a fuck, people like Kathleen Kennedy, ruined it for them. It's not what I want. Did they do the ping like in a sub movie sonar like Red October or Ice Station Zebra?
No, they didn't actually ever. I mean, Mikey Spock talked a good game about using sonar to detect the Klingorks, but they never deployed it because the planet didn't give them permission because the planet knew that they sucked. And so it said, no, I don't really want to be part of your silly ass little sound Klingon. It is just so fucking stupid. There's no way to overstate how stupid it is. You talked about how there's no way that those red angel like flares could have simultaneously appeared in the heavens, thousands and thousands of light years apart. Even traveling at the speed of light, those things would never have hit the same point in the universe to an observer at the same time. But it's even stupider to think that sonar would work, because sonar goes at the speed of, guess what, kids? Sound. And we already go faster than sound. In fact, General Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier a long fucking time ago. So you have a Klingon. Let's say that a cloaked Klingon vessel has appeared out around Pluto. And we on Earth we're going to detect it. So our Space Force can shoot the Klingons, and we send out ping out into space. Even assuming, stupidly, like Kurtzman and his company, that sound can travel in space, sound is going to go about the speed of Chuck Yeager in what, the 50s? So how long, Gary, is it going to take that ping to get out to Pluto going at the speed of sound? I just wonder.
Long time.
A long fucking time. So we got to hope that the Klingorks don't move for the couple of years that it will take to get the first, because then we got to get it back.
Well, that's only if it can emit the frequency, right? It's got to emit a frequency or it's not going to get there ever because it's sound. So
yeah,
that's where I got confused at the end, because when the retarded Kelpian does a derp to derp and he causes all the Federation ships to explode instantaneously, he does it by screaming. So he is connected to the dilithium through some magical bullshit thing. His being born in proximity, which is ripping something off from Doctor Who, by the way, because Amy Pond and Rory had sex in proximity to the in the TARDIS, and River Song came out Time Lord. Okay, the Archon energy might have gotten out, and maybe fine. Doctor Who, it makes sense because you can do the fucking weird shit in Doctor Who, and it's fine. That's why it's so fucked up what they did to Doctor Who, because there's so many things you can do in Doctor Who and get away with.
Right.
Did the one thing you can't get away with. They just did the one fucking thing. Don't get me started. I don't know, but I should talk about that in a second. But no. So he screams, and then a sound wave emits from the hollow of the ship, right? and there's a wave that goes out into the planet that you see. Well, it's like a shock wave, but there wasn't an explosion. So there wasn't energy from like an explosion. It was from the sound. Well, how did the sound get emitted in a vacuum?
It wouldn't.
So and somehow it would have to emit a frequency, right? And this frequency blew shit up. It was such a I don't know, Doomcock. I don't know how they come up with concepts this dumb. There's so many things you could have thought of that would have made sense, or it sounded like it made sense. My God, you could have said quantum tachyon something,
right?
But no, they used a child's scream. Why did they get hung up on that? Well, one of my theories is they needed to show a weak male, like a weak male Federation.
That's a good point. Yeah, symbolically, a weak male, even though it looked like a chewed up mushroom that a turtle had half eaten and then walked away from. Nevertheless, a male chewed up mushroom that a turtle had chewed up and walked away from. There you go. That's good. I think personally that the blue wave that we saw, I believe that was a television signal. And what happened is his scream unleashed from the hologram program an episode of Star Trek Discovery across the galaxy. And when the dilithium resonated with it, like a radio crystal set, right? Like you could, have a crystal set and pick up a station. Well, the dilithium couldn't help but see this episode, and they all committed suicide. That's what happened. So the dilithium killed itself rather than watch Star Trek Discovery's TV signal that he inadvertently unleashed.
That's the humane thing to do. Finbar Hooley for $5. Do you think Star Trek Discovery writers would be smart? Well, they're not smart. That's not their baseline. Enough to know what quantum entanglement is, and did a poor exploration from quantum mechanical theory. I think so, because they said they had Adira explaining it, and she said, well, sound is a mechanism. Well, it certainly is. It's a mechanism that won't work in the vacuum of space.
Oh God.
And I have been kicked out of 3 high schools. I mean, these are things I hear, and I have to go look them up because I don't know them off the top of my fucking head. Right. And I look them up, and I take the time to look them up. You would think they would do the same. Okay.
Yeah.
What you gotta do is do the same.
They're only getting paid a mint for this shit.
It's so criminal.
It is
that they're taking the spot from somebody who
deserves it
and deserves it, and could bring fans back to Star Wars instead of their big claim to fame is you didn't lose as much this year. That's your accomplishment. Oh my God. Thank you, R. Fletch, for the $5, by the way, asking about the ping. Finbar Hooley, an example of quantum entanglement is from the 3rd book of His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman with the Gillespieans. Well, I haven't read His Dark Materials, but I'll have to check it out.
It's on TV. It's on Netflix, I think. No, Amazon Prime.
I thought it was HBO.
Yeah, HBO. You're right.
Yeah. I haven't
seen it.
I'll look up quantum entanglement. I'll look it up.
Oh, well, quantum entanglement is basically if you have let's say an electron with a particular spin comes in contact with another electron that also has that spin, and then they're separated in space. If you change the spin of that electron, of the first electron, it will change the spin of the second one, despite the fact that there's a great distance between them because they are quantumly entangled. That's basically it. And so you can extrapolate to a greater extent to say, well, shit, if we were all condensed at the moment of the Big Bang, all matter, all energy was essentially unitary, then really, from a metaphysical perspective, which is the Vedantist perspective, we're all quantumly entangled.
Quantumly entangled.
To some extent, which is the consciousness of the universe. But I got a little exozone there for you guys. A little preview of this week.
I'm kind of down with. Yeah, that's something I'm kind of down with. Yeah, the Akashic record is just us being.
It really is. Yeah, which would be really cool because it's like in the Matrix. If we were able to access that, we could just say, "I need to know how to fly a Bell helicopter," and boom, it's downloaded. That was so cool in the Matrix, wasn't it?
That was.
God, that's a great movie. That is a great movie. The sequel sucked, but the
first
movie.
Classic,
Jesus.
absolute classic.
Oh, God, really, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's like Westworld season 1. Fucking great. Just don't see the rest. Although the Matrix sequels fail in a different type of way. They fail to the embarrassment of riches, and they forgot also that the directors are they are not mentally stable people. That has a lot to do with it too. The Art of the Real for $10 said, just saw Leonard Nimoy in an episode of Silent Service from 1957 here on YouTube. I never even heard of that.
God, I never heard that. Silent Service.
And it's on YouTube, he said. I'll have to go check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Max P 123 ABC for $4.99. Hail, me and my bro stopped watching Discovery about season 2, but my dad still blindly watches it. Have you seen Screen Rant's woke Lord of the Rings casting article? I did. Many people sent it to me. Holy shit. This is why we can't have nice things. That Nerdist article, which is, I can't believe I'm going to defend Doctor Who, current year Doctor Who, but it's like, it's many things. Abusive to black people is not one of them. It's abusive to all people. It's abusive to our brains with its stupidity. James BT 2003 for $20. Does CBS even care that this is lazy piss poor writing? No, they do not. The answer is no.
Well, they do. They just don't realize it yet because they've killed their fucking show. Viacom CBS now has less worth in the marketplace because of what Kurtzman has done to Star Trek. And you can say you don't give a shit about that, but in this time of belt tightening, when Hollywood is teetering on an abyss, I tell you, yeah, you do fucking care about it, Viacom CBS. You're just too fucking stupid to understand what Kurtzman has done to you. You're too stupid to really fully comprehend the loss of value to your company, to your investors, to your intellectual property. You guys have been rogered by Kurtzman and Secret Robot. Mm-hmm. You guys are fucked. And you don't even have the brains to know it. And Kurtzman didn't even kiss you.
No. And you got fooled by Alex Kurtzman. I mean,
yeah.
You should all be sacked for that.
Yep. I guess if you don't care, shit, I don't care.
Yeah.
I've got my Star Trek. I've got it on Blu-ray. I've got the first 2 series on Blu-ray. I need to get Deep Space Nine on DVD. I don't have that, but I'm good. Fuck you. You've only hurt yourselves moving forward. Nothing that Kurtzman has done is in any way canonical. I proved that with another video. Midnight's Edge has helped me prove that. Nerdrotic, you've talked about it. It is not canon. The stuff that they are doing is not in the same universe as the real Star Trek. It just isn't. So, Kurtzman's crayon scrawlings, whatever. He cannot touch it. He cannot touch it.
No. So Sam Whiskey for $1.99. Gary, do you ever rotate the comic book stand? Yeah. I mean, I haven't rotated it lately because I'm technically not even finished with my office yet. There's a whole part you don't see. I'm not done yet. I've got to finish soundproofing, and it's just I got caught up in work, and I'm so fucking behind on everything. I need massive amounts of help, but it's not coming. So I will do it myself, but I will rotate it someday. I just like the comics I'm showing right now. Good question, though, Sam Whiskey. Gomer Kyle for $10. Who sent the storm that knocked out communications in Noobcock's lair? Was it Mikey Spock or Jodie Whittaker, known as Dr. Karen? DC attacked by two of the bestest ever will not rest until there is justice for Doomcock.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I do not know. It is a freak occurrence. A freak occurrence. It was truly surreal how much snow got dumped on the compound. And I don't know, man. The power just went off. I don't know, man. It's weird. I guess the center of the earth is not at all used to snow.
Yeah, I'll have to get used to weather wherever I go because it was, I think it got below 70 today. It was a little chilly, but not a cloud in the sky. It was fine. But yeah, it's California, so you can't really enjoy it because you're being oppressed. I would say with Doctor Who, it's been over a week. The New Year's Eve's festive special is a distant memory that everyone has forgotten. The biggest news was Jodie Whittaker quitting, that they did not make official, but it's pretty fucking official. They would have denied. I mean, this thing got picked up by huge outlets, got by Deadline, BBC itself. Actually, they were talking about it on BBC fucking radio. I've got audio. I've got all kinds of stuff. People have been sending me stuff all week. Now, what I was waiting for was hopefully something like legit coming out saying she quit and we're going to be lining up a new doctor. Well, we might get that at the end of the month. We might be a couple of weeks away from her possibly stating that it's official. Mm-hmm. And then if that's the case, we could be possibly 6 months away from them announcing another doctor. When it gets closer to the new series, they have to go through the process. My guess is they've already done that. She was going to be gone for a long time, folks. This isn't like just new news. I said it 9 months ago, and it was old news then. So she was going to be gone a long time ago. Here's my question. This is just my speculation right now. I know we have a 60th anniversary coming out, but I don't know if that fucking matters. They can just do a 60th anniversary. They don't need to do another season of television. I think the BBC might be actually considering canning the show. I think this might be it.
Really?
Yep. If you're going to keep especially if you're keeping Chibnall on, it's going to make no difference. They'll get a bump in the ratings. If it's a bloke, fine. But if it's a woke bloke, like, dude, if a dude was in these last two series, it wouldn't have made a difference to me.
No.
I still fucking hate it, right? I mean, like, it's not like she played it like a woman anyway.
No, with the same scripts, the same abuse of the Doctor, the same demolition of the Time Lords, and all the lore. No, it wouldn't have made a squirt of piss of difference. We might just have been not quite as annoyed at Jodie Whittaker's just surface shallow portrayal of the Doctor. Every fucking line delivered exactly the same way, at the same speed, with her mouth fucking hanging open. You know, it doesn't really matter if it was a woman or a man or a donkey. Mr. fucking Ed could have been the Doctor, and it wouldn't have made any difference. Might have been a little bit more charming, but ultimately, Jesus Christ, the fault is in the writing, and there's nothing you can do. It's done. It's just toast.
Even with good writing, Jodie wouldn't have been great because she wasn't capable of playing the role. She was woefully miscast. I think she has the talent of your average guest star actress on a sitcom, which is a good living. There's nothing wrong with that. Go on, go do your own thing. There was some big Screen Rant article saying that she should play Avar in the High Republic. Fucking go do it. You'd be perfect for it. But as far as this show is concerned, because I was told it was both of them were gone. Both of them will be gone. And the BBC knows it. The BBC knows that fundamentally the problem isn't just Jodie, it's Chibnall. They are a package fucking deal. And to keep Chibnall would be utter stupidity. And again, I was told definitively that they were going to be gone together.
Wow.
So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I guess a lot has changed. They're going to have less episodes. They're shooting them now, which means if we are going to get a change, they've already chosen the new Doctor. It's already been done.
Huh.
Unless they last minute film a regeneration scene, which I guess they could do. But they knew she was going to quit. So we would fucking know unless they're going to shit can the show. Then it doesn't matter. They don't have to
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
And then they can just say, we'll do a special. We'll do a 60th anniversary special. We'll get Eccleston. We'll get Tennant. We'll get Smith back. Jodie Whittaker will be in it, which will fucking ruin it. And I don't think you'll get Capaldi back. I've talked about this with Az and others before, but he got fucked over like badly. So I don't think you'll see like Moffat writing it or Russell T Davies coming back or anything like that. No. This will be a shit show. It won't even be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going back and reminiscing a little bit about the 50th anniversary. Fucking loved it. I loved it, man. I did. Even with Clara in it, I fucking loved it. And it's so sad what's happened to this fucking show and what's happened to the fandom. And it didn't need to be this way. It really didn't. You know, after all this fucking fighting, all this division, here we are at the end. And I said this in a video. I don't know if many of you saw it. You know, it was before my channel started taking off. But I said at the end of it, I'm like, you know, this is going to end in ashes. And the only people left are going to be people like me who obsessively love Doctor Who and still want to talk about it when everybody's gone. I'll be the last motherfucker leaving this party, turning the lights out or I don't know, putting the fire out or whatever. And here we are. I mean, we're here. Doomcock and I are talking about it. You know, Bowles Trek's talking about it as Drinker, but nobody else really. And nobody's watching this shit. And it didn't need to be this way. If you wanted to do the true feminist thing, you get a Romana show. You put as much money and time and effort as you put into Doctor Who as you put into a Romana show. That way you could have a female regenerate into other females. And a separate show that could be just as good, if not better, than the Doctor. Why did they not go that route? Because they wanted to take something away. This was about taking something away. This was about fitting a square peg into a round hole that was never, ever going to work. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who was destined to fail. It was always going to fail. It will fail again, and it will continue to fail because you can't have a female Doctor. It is a male character. That's the way it was established. It doesn't need to be a white male character. It just needs to be a male character. And it's not going to work anymore, no matter what you do from here on out, because you have broken it forever. They took a woman and they did the most sexist thing they could possibly do. They gave her less episodes. They gave her less time.
They gave her a curiously curved sonic screwdriver.
Oh my God. I can't show the picture. I can't show the picture. There is a picture that's being passed around on Twitter. I'll put it up on Twitter in a little bit. And it looks exactly like that. So yes, they gave her a vibrator. They gave her the ugliest TARDIS that looks like a spider died, fell on its back with a boner that goes up and down. And they also changed the entire show for her. The entire show. So I want you to think, like I mentioned it a lot, but visually, I can't show you the clip here, but visually think about the first time you saw a Doctor, not just the first appearance of the Doctors. Think about the first time you saw the Doctor. Think about the first time William Hartnell was on screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's meaningless now. It's absolutely meaningless. And their whole argument is we're not breaking anything. Change is scary. I know, but we're just creating more stories. If you have to destroy something to create something new, you've already lost.
Absolutely. You should be able to have enough imagination and skill to work within the guardrails of the show. You can absolutely still have innovation. You can do wonderful things with the character. For God's sakes, I mean, there are so many things you could still do to the Doctor, so many different variations and approaches to the Time Lord that you could do. For God's sakes, I thought they were going to do it with Capaldi. I mean, I thought Capaldi was going to be like a dark lord. I thought he was going to be, I mean, because he can look imperious and be scary as hell. And I thought it would be very interesting to have a Doctor that is somewhat aloof, somewhat cold, somewhat ruthless, not evil, but, somebody that acts more, I've said it many times, like Morpheus in Sandman.
Yep.
I mean, because you even had a little glimpse of that with Tennant, with the children, all the horrible things that he did to them, which is very, very Sandman, the mirror, the scarecrow, for God's sakes, to see an exemplar of that for a few seasons would have been fantastic. The Dark Majesty, because this should be a being that is incomprehensible on a certain level. I mean, we're used to the friendly Doctor, the funny Doctor, the warm Doctor, but there's also an aspect of the Doctor that is unknowable and should be kind of scary.
No, we got into that, in the Time War, right?
Yeah.
And you're right, man.
He would have been grand.
Oh,
he would have been grand. Somebody that like an aspect of the Doctor, even the Daleks are fucking terrified of, like this guy. You just do not, because he's alien, to play up the alien aspect of him, to play up the kind of colder, the kind of the calluses that would develop over thousands and thousands of years. I mean, you've seen everything come and go. You have a sense of a disjointed sense of reality, because you can have somebody dead and then just get into TARDIS and go back and see them alive again. This has got to fuck with your head on some level. And I think Capaldi, that's what I was so excited about. I thought with that red lining, and his outfit, he could have been kind of like a Grand Moff Tarkin of the TARDIS, not evil, but kind of maybe even beyond, maybe Nietzschean, maybe beyond good and evil. Just an incarnation, just to show you really what you're fucking with and why Clara was an idiot for ever presuming to judge this timeless being.
Exactly. Well, he was playing with her. That's the only way I put it.
Exactly. He should be kind of a little bit like Galactus in an incarnation, just like a force, just like, he's seen too much, man.
Holy shit. As made me watch Deep Breath, because I'm like, it was good. It's not my favorite opening episode, but I rewatched it with new eyes. It's been years since I watched it. Holy shit. Is that episode good? Fuck, is that episode good? Mm-hmm. Starts out a little goofy in the beginning, but it gets dark as fuck. And they never followed through with what you were saying, because I think they were fully going in that direction with Peter's Doctor. And something changed at the BBC, and they made them all foppish and I
was so disgusted. Yeah, at the
sunglasses. Oh fuck, with those things.
Yeah, the waste of potential. The wasted potential was so grievous that's why I tuned out Capaldi. I was so disappointed. I was like, you fools. I felt like Indiana Jones at the end of Raiders. They don't know what they've got there. They didn't. They had somebody that could have been one of the greatest doctors of all time, and they fucked it away.
No, and by the end of season 9, I was frustrated, and by 10, I was like, okay, Pearl Mackie seems cooler, but she's always telling me that she's either gay or insinuating about her identity politics, and then I couldn't stand it by the end of season 10, so I was already pissed. But I was still trying to hang in there, man, because I got used to Capaldi. I was like, no, this guy could be a great doctor, but then they just did some Moffat lost it at the end. He stayed way too long. Wow. Holy shit. Alistair Tester for $300. Dude, thank you. Crazy. Says, Gary, you always use the kicked out of 3 high schools. Well, it's true. for not being smart. However, the first time I sent a super chat, you pronounced my last name correctly. That's something none of my elementary, middle, or high school teachers could do without correction, or I don't. So I don't think you missed much. I don't know. I mispronounce names all the time. I'm terrible at this stuff. Doomcock can attest my messaging skills are the worst because I don't even bother correcting my spelling when I text. I just like, they can figure it out.
Yeah, it's good enough. It's communication.
It's communication, but no, I wish I would have stayed in school. I do. I really do. Stay in school, kids, at least the basic part of it. It really is good to learn like the basic math, algebra. I don't know. I never use it, but you probably should. But thanks. I appreciate that. I went to the school of life. I went to the school of hard knocks. I learned all of my history through reading fucking encyclopedias because I had nothing better to do. So I read a lot of encyclopedias. It was really weird. But I was a weird kid. So, yeah. Star Trekker 58 for $5 Australian. I began with TOS 2 seasons of I began with TOS 2 seasons of TNG. I'm back. All Trek up to Enterprise have been good or great, in my opinion. Good male and female characters and stories. Trash since. I would mostly agree. I mean, I agree with Doomcock on Enterprise. I think it's a very mixed bag. It's a very, very mixed bag that has some good stuff in it. I'm not crazy about Scott Bakula, though. I've never been a big fan of his.
I like him in Quantum Leap, but he's a really nice guy, and he plays really nice guys. And the man doesn't have an ounce of darkness in his body. He's just a really genial guy, and it showed so plainly when he tried to do Mirror Universe Archer. It was so heavy-handed. The poor guy. He's just a sweet guy, he doesn't have it in him, and and that's admirable. But I thought he was great in Quantum Leap.
Thank you again, Alistair. I didn't watch much of Quantum Leap, but I didn't hate it. It's not like it was bad. It was just during a time in my life where I wasn't watching a lot of TV.
You might like it. It's a really genial show. It's a lot of fun, and it had some extremely memorable moments in it. I would say the episode in particular, the Halloween episode where Sam goes back to meet young Stephen King, young Stevie King at a Halloween house, has one of the best performances in it of Dean Stockwell. Jesus Christ, that was great. If you haven't seen it, I won't say what it was, but it was so good.
I'll check it out someday when I'm sick and I want to watch like episodic TV. I'll do it. I haven't been sick in a while, which is good. It's been a while. Darth Bredicus for $5. I jokingly said that Avar Chris looks like Dr. Karen. Now there's a rumor she might play her. Oh, no. Yeah, it's just screen rant. Fucking looking for clicks.
Yeah, it's funny that Avar is actually the bestest Avar in the descriptions, which is just hilarious. It makes you think that they've been watching me. I don't know.
Hey, the gay character is his anagram for his last name is gay. Leo is gay.
Right. Leo X is gay.
Nicholas Glenn pointed out that Leo the 10th, the 10th Pope, was gay. So it's supposed to be Leo the 10th is gay.
Right.
Who was the Pope who wanted to, I heard this from him. I didn't know this. Wanted to kill Martin Luther. I know who Martin Luther is because I'm Lutheran. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Gomer Kyle. There we go. I read that one. Okay, so back to Doctor Who. They went out of their way to destroy this franchise because in their arrogance, they thought that no matter what, well, for one, they thought they were right. Right. They thought they were right. They didn't think they would get any opposition to this. They thought it was time, and nobody really wanted this in the fandom. And I mean, nobody. Sure. There's, literally somebody out there who wanted it, but I bet you that percentage was, well, I know it was tiny, absolutely tiny for the people who genuinely wanted the Doctor to turn female. Again, make a new character female. I don't give a shit. Don't make James Bond a female. Don't make Spider-Man a female, and you don't make Doctor Who a female. You know why Batman has been a popular character for almost 80 years. It's been 80 years, but I don't know if he's a popular character anymore in the comics because comics suck. But let's just, for the sake of argument, say 80 years. You want to know why? Because he's been Batman for 80 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. He's been Batman. He's been Bruce fucking Wayne. And son of Martha and Thomas Wayne. Martha! And they always die. And he goes and fights for justice. He goes and fights criminals. He is the Dark Detective, the Dark Knight. There are various versions of him, many, many versions of artist takes that are much different, but he still has a cape on. He still has a bat on his chest, and he's got pointy ear mask. Now you can do all the variations you want of that shit. Well, that's fine. People have their favorites, but he's still fucking Batman. And the Doctor is something you can do something extraordinary with. You can make the outside part look like a different male every time, but it still needs to be a male.
Yep.
Now that the Doctor's female, every relationship, every interaction he has changes because men and women are different.
Yep. You're right. I mean, there's so little now left of the character that is inviolate. They have violated everything, and so nothing remains. These characters are very thin, and they can't survive the kind of sex change and racial swap and all. I mean, it just dilutes the character so much that it almost becomes not worth it anymore.
And that's where you're at. The rationalization we still hear today is what? It's so what? It's still the Doctor. No, actually it's not. For one, the Doctor has infinite number of regenerations, so there's no damage, and that really takes away from a lot of the New Who series. Mm-hmm. If you go look at the plot points of the New Who series, it's the Doctor facing death. The series is about death, which means the Doctor has limits on his regenerations. That's why he was careful. He didn't just go out and get shot, because he could have. There's a million times the Doctor could have got in this situation going, listen, I'm just going to go out and die, but I'll regenerate real quick and I'll come back, and this will keep you safe. They didn't do that, but the Doctor should have done that. He's a total fucking asshole for not doing that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of companions who have died because he didn't do that. Yeah. People have died to save the Doctor who would have just been regenerated immediately.
Yeah.
It's fucking
good point.
Yep. It destroys the character. And they didn't think about this stuff because all they thought about was, we need to make him a woman. Yep. And the best example of Hollywood creative incompetence is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1984, where Wonder Woman raped a man, and it got by thousands of people before it was released on a fucking streaming service, which tells you how little they think of shit. They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think they have these billion-dollar franchises. They have you think they sit down and have multiple meetings? No, they fuck around for lunch a little bit. They have table reads. They shit out some stuff. That's about it. It's not that much work is put into it. And people in Korea and Hollywood right now, you're not going to the fucking salt mines. Okay. You're filming make-believe. I understand that some of it is work, but you're having fun while you're doing it. You get to make Doctor Who. You get to make Star Trek. Quit crying that it's a bunch of fucking work, especially when people are out of work. You are dancing monkeys. You just entertain us. That's all you are. You're clowns. And yep. I appreciate the art when it's done well. I respect the hell out of it and I appreciate it. But don't take yourself so seriously, for one, to think that your platforms of influence and you can go out there and destroy something people loved at a whim, which I guess you did. You accomplished that. But I mean, I'm not going to shut up about it. And hopefully it doesn't happen again. There's not many franchises left that they haven't done this to.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully when somebody does create something out there, just don't sell it to a company. Keep it for yourself. You don't need the extra money. If it's popular, you'll make enough to be taken care of the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Well said. Hey, man, we started late tonight, so I'm probably got maybe
You need to bug out, buddy.
15 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's all I can go to. That's all I can go to. So let's read a couple more super chats and we'll get out of here. Sorry, we started late. It was because of the charity stream and stuff. And thanks for hanging this long. Dixon Cider for $5. Sorry, I'm late. Snow knocked out power until recently. Hope I didn't miss much.
No, yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Jaeger Bomb 2 for $5. They honestly are going ahead with Strange New Worlds with Kurtzman. How does he keep getting work? Anyone else could write better than him, honestly, anyone else, but apparently it's going to go to Akiva Goldsman, which is a lateral move. It's still bad. Jaeger Bomb 2. Excuse me. Gundam could write a better female dialogue than Star Trek Discovery. Absolutely, he could. Doomcock could write an entire season of Star Trek that would probably fix everything.
Yes, I could, but we'll never get the chance. But that's all right. It's not what it was. Let's just put it that way.
No, it's not. Gomer Kyle for $2. Thank you. I appreciate it. Star Trekker 58 for $2 Australian. Gary Book has a time ship bigger on the inside. Yes, and his name is fucking Book. They had to name him Book.
Oh, geez. What I hated was the love scenes with Mikey Spock and him that had no passion whatsoever in them. Yeah. The Book of Love. Jesus.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, and then Book can operate the spore drive too.
Oh, sure. Because he can talk to the mushrooms. If I could talk to the mushrooms. Yeah. Great.
See all the comparisons Major Grin makes for STD. Captain Spire for $2. Yeah, I haven't gone to his channel for a while, but I'll go check it out. I have spent the last 4 days working on a review, and it's like the Picard review again. It's like there's a certain way I do reviews. All right, I have my style, my way of doing things. It's very difficult to do these reviews in my way of doing things, which is going over the entirety of the plot, trying to catch all the major super. What I have to do is condense it. I have to give up some stupid shit. Basically, I have to not mention some stupid shit. And I really want to mention because if you miss one major stupid thing in Star Trek Discovery, it might not make the other stupid thing make sense. Doomcock was talking about it earlier. When you bring up certain things, you have to return to a baseline of sanity once in a while, because like when I start explaining Star Trek Discovery, I might sound like an insane person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. You have to reassert reality. You have to get back grounded to appreciate and have some perspective on just how fucktarded the thing is that you just saw.
Yep. And you're also reviewing a show that most people aren't watching.
Right.
So that's the thing. And that's the difficult part. Like, reviewing Wonder Woman was easy. I knew a bunch of people watched it, so they know what I'm talking about. You're not going to know what we're talking about when it comes to Star Trek Discovery. So it's almost better to generalize, but then you miss the stupid shit, which is
right. It's hard. You have to explain the context. I don't ever just say something sucks. I explain why, but to explain why, you sometimes have to explain Star Trek history. You have to explain how physics works. You have to explain, narrative strategies to explain why the script sucks so bad. I mean, there are so many things that you have to give context to educate the person about the context of what you're saying. And before you even get to the specifics of why it sucks. It's just exhausting.
It is. Just to even get to why they are 930 years in the future, it's like you wouldn't believe me if I had to explain it to you. So there's an artificial intelligence that isn't quite an artificial intelligence, but it knows enough that it wants to be one.
Right.
And then the person goes, how? And then you go, I don't know. I think you're sentient if you know you want to be sentient. Otherwise, then you're just a toaster. So how does a toaster become sentient? Well, it becomes sentient. It can't go, a toaster doesn't wake up going, I want to be sentient and I need this thing to become sentient and I'm going to find it. That's not how it works.
No.
So
no. Yeah. It's just really, really a Herculean task to try and review this damn thing in a way that anyone will understand it who doesn't watch the show. And the reward is you make a video that gets, 30,000 views maybe or something like that. It's like, that's not a very nice reward. You spend days and days tearing your hair out and trying to review this shit. So it's kind of depressing. It's a dark road.
I owe this one because this one took so much out of my life. I fucking owe it something. I feel like I do, but I got to figure out a weird hook or whatever. I'll figure it out. It's kind of a creative block. It's kind of a creative block that you just got to work through. But as far as, I mean, basically put here, Star Trek is written by a bunch of fake geek girls, and that's why it's shit.
There you go.
Yeah. Just like Kurtzman, Burnham keeps failing upwards. Luker Oath 93 for 279 Canadian. That is true. She kind of exemplifies his career path. And they ended up in communist uniforms at the end, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
That part, I laughed. I'm like, oh my God. Everything in this show, and you said it, is ugly.
Yeah. It's hideous.
The ships, dude. The ships look like shit.
Yeah. I couldn't even give you a basic shape for a Klingork ship or a book ship. I don't know what book ship looks like. I can't tell you what the fucking Osiris ship looked like. They're just kind of shapes dashed together, and they don't have any rhyme or reason. They're hideous.
In the opening scene, it looks like a can opener is chasing a squished can in space.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, it's like, who thought this was? I mean, it's like they're not even trying.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to sell this? I mean, how's Eagle Moss going to sell books ship?
As a failure? As an object lesson of how not to design, maybe? I don't know.
And then you took the constitutional class. I know, like, Discovery is not considered a constitutional class, it's some other class, right? Ship, like, which is like classic fucking design. You make it look like shit, like absolute shit. It's such Star Trek ships are so fucking beautiful. We looked at that poster last week, right? And somebody shot it to me on eBay. It was like fucking $400. But the Star Trek the motion picture poster, the one with the Enterprise on it, and then it's just got the pictures on the bottom, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful picture. It's porn to me. And then you think about what they have now. It's the worst ships. And we've gone so far backwards in science fiction. Science fiction is supposed to be the kind of thing that does explore new ideas. That's what it's supposed to be used for. That's what Star Trek excelled at. But those new ideas had to be explored through our characters that we actually gave a shit about and what they experienced, not the actual characters and their traits. I don't give a fuck about Kirk's traits. I cared about Kirk. Kirk was a badass. Kirk was something I could look up to. Kirk was instrumental in me growing up.
Yeah.
And a good role model for that. So that's what do you got? What kind of, Star Trek inspired actual people to become scientists. Like it did. And I think this show is under the illusion it will do the same thing, but for women. It's meant to just inspire women. That's its whole point. They've said that before. It's a female-centric show. This isn't my description. This is Kurtzman's description. It's a female-centric show, a show that used to be truly egalitarian for everyone.
Yep.
I don't know any women who are inspired by this though. We're gonna do 2 more and we out. Okay. Mike Trout, welcome to the Jaloja level. Hail, Mike Trout. What's up? And Seagar Gangster for $9.99. Hail Gary, hail Doomcock. You guys are a must watch. I like to hear that. Gomer Kyle for $5 says lighting farts can be done much like everything else in Hollywood. They don't light their farts. In Hollywood, they don't light their farts, could blow them up as they smell or sniff them regularly. Yeah, they smell them too much. They're not going to light them. They love the smell of their own farts too much.
No, absolutely. In fact, they live in an atmosphere made up exclusively of farts. You ignite that, it's like Mars. It'll still be burning 10 years later.
Cecil has dropped us a super chat, said, I was going to give you $200, but now I'll look cheap. So he gives us 2. That's awesome.
Excellent.
Right. I was going to donate to Cash Grab, but then I realized you would have my address. I'm just kidding, Cecil. I love you, Cecil. You can have my address, Cecil.
Awesome.
Yes, he is. Thanks again, Alistair. I appreciate it. Douglas Nelson for $2 says, we got screwed over more. Who got screwed over more? Capaldi or Colin Baker? Ooh. Well, we don't know all the info on Capaldi.
Yeah.
Colin Baker got fucked over. Like, he really got fucked over. It was not, he wasn't even there for his regeneration scene, fucked over. So I'm going to say Colin Baker, especially getting to know him. Like he's a nutball. And I don't agree with most of what he says in real life, but he did get fucked over. Now there's a lot of doctors who, behind the scenes do not like, they changed it to a female doctor, will never like it, are worried that it has affected their career. And the answer is it has. It's going to, conventions are going to be far and few between. Yeah. And people aren't going to want to go to Doctor Who conventions because the attendance was already slipping. Gallifrey 1, the last one they had, took a long time to sell out, and that had never happened before. And it's a limited convention. Only a couple thousand people go, Mm-hmm. So things were going downhill anyway. Nina Infinity. What's up, Nina Infinity, for 25 Mexican dollars. She says, hi, Gary and Doomcock. Love you guys. Keep doing what you do. Thank you, Nina Infinity. We love you too. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Any super chat I missed, I will get it in a super chat square up. Doomcock's got to go to bed. I got to go to bed too. I'm solo dad this week. So I got Junior. It's just Junior and me, and mom is doing speakeasy hair right now because you know what? She's not sitting around and waiting for somebody to come in and save her or some government. She needs to make fucking money. She can't wait around for some stupid assistance that's not really going to help, that I'd rather see go to somebody else. She's taking care of business. That's why I love her. She's fucking awesome. Doomcock, plug your wonderful channel.
My channel is Overlord DVD on YouTube. Also the Harvey Zone, which I need to update like massively. I've fallen way behind. Sorry about that. Mea culpa. Also have a Patreon site, patreon.com/Doomcock, subscribestar.com/Doomcock as well. So hope to see you guys there. And thank you, Gary, for having me on, man. It was a lot of fun after a trying and difficult day.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry you couldn't make it on. And we're going to do another one, and you will be there. We'll make sure you're there.
Awesome, man.
And so, yeah, we're going to do more of these, and I think we're going to spread the love over channels. But if we could end it there. To anyone, thanks to everyone who was at the previous live stream. Thanks to everyone who super chats here, by the way, and keeps the lights on and supports Doomcock financially. You guys will never know what you've meant to us over the last couple of years. We're so grateful for all of you. And anybody who donated to St. Jude's Hospital at the live stream on Star Wars Theory, we raised $30,000. That 100% of is going to the St. Jude's Children's Hospitals, kids with cancer. And that was Fandom Menace Channels and Star Wars Theory, and a guy from Collider. And it was quite a moment. It was quite a moment. So, the only thing missing was my buddy Doomcock. So hopefully he'll be at the next one.
Hopefully so.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to the Modrotics. Have a good night. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.